mad. It's like, and they all just dead started laughing at him. Have you seen Half Baked, Claire? Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, then you're just throwing because I'm sorry. But no, that shit was so funny.
Ooh.
So
your
funny.
paranoia is off the charts right now,
Yes.
my friend.
Okay,
You need
yo,
to chill.
all right, Claire.
It's okay. There is
Drink
nothing
some
going
water.
Listen,
Golly.
y'all gonna stop telling me to chill right now. I don't need to chill. I'm fine.
You know what I love? No, Logan,
fine.
you know what I love about people who aren't chill but like get told that they need to chill? They'll give like an intense adverse reaction that's just so not chill. And they're like, I'm fucking chill. Like, I love when people do that. Like when you tell someone they need anger management and they yell at you for 2 hours on how they don't need anger management.
That's not what...
I know. So I wasn't talking about you in that last example, Mitchell.
I was talking about him. I was talking about him in that last example.
Yes, we know you was talking about me in that last. But I've calmed down. I've calmed down now, and I'm here to just say, no, not really.
Hey, Mitchell, you need to chill.
That's not funny. Oh man.
If
were you guys serious about thinking I'm off though? I was just kidding.
Yes, Mitch, we were.
You guys were that serious?
Yeah, shut up. I'm starting the show. If you're just tuning in.
What? We're doing introductions, Mitchell. Where are you going?
What the hell? In the middle of the show. How?
The start of the show.
I know.
You're literally just about to say your whole bit where he's supposed to do his obnoxious ass bullshit.
I need a new bit.
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. You're just tuning in. It's like, it's not the radio, Logan.
Look, I know. I thought that the first time you did that, but because you did that the first time, it just sort of like
because I was just nervous the first time. I didn't know what else to say.
We could be like, hey guys. I don't know. That sounds bad.
But, it was real. It was real.
It was real.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's stupid because
it's so dumb.
Obvious. They've searched the thing or they clicked on the link and they want to listen. And the only thing they're tuning into is like the first 5 minutes of us.
I found some clips.
Before.
It's a podcast. You're supposed to be tuning us into us fucking bullshitting for the first 5 minutes.
Mitchell, you left, so you don't understand context.
He tries to do that. He tries to like hop out and then like join the conversation after he hop back in.
Listen, I was just hearing what I heard. Damn. I'm trying to get a high out these clips, nigga. Leave me the fuck alone.
Anywho.
If you're just tuning in,
we gonna be all right.
Yeah,
we're gonna do it until like I figured out a better way to do this. I don't know.
If you have any options, send them, please.
Yeah, sorry. If you have any way for me to start the show that's better than if you're just tuning in.
I have one if you'd like to hear it.
No, I'm Logan.
Someone sounds scared.
I'm your host, Logan, and this is the Milk and Toast podcast. I'm here with two of my best friends. Say hi to the people, Mitch.
Good evening.
Oh, shit. Say hi to the people, Claire.
Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, yes.
And look what we did for the people just now, Claire. Look at that. Look at that.
International.
That's right. That's right. Love
a global podcast.
This is episode 8 of the Milk and Toast podcast.
Oh, fuck. Yay. I thought this was 7. My high ass.
Wow. Anyways, how are you guys doing today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I could be higher off the ground.
Can you tell how I instantly went into intellectual level just to try and combat Mitch?
Yeah, I know. This is a show of extremes.
This is a show. I wish you did that more dramatic. This is a show of extremes.
I don't know how I can like keep turning Mitch's microphone down, and he's still like the loudest thing.
I'm away from the damn mic.
Yeah, but you keep coming into it and
you
yelling.
go into it, and then you yell as loud as you can.
Oh yeah, that's probably fair.
Come on,
that's
probably fair.
That's probably fair. No, it is. I mean, we ain't gonna deny the truth out here. We're not gonna pretend. Master pretender, but I'm pretending real life.
Oh my god! So, how was y'all's weekend?
It's pretty good. It was pretty good. had to. Yeah, no, I said pretty good.
Yeah.
It was alright.
How
Like,
come
we
I
didn't do
can't
much.
ask you guys
remember.
questions?
Oh, shit. No, I didn't do anything. That was the last weekend before that. That's okay. No.
I mean, it was Memorial Weekend. You know, rest in
That
peace
wasn't-
to our fallen soldiers.
Oh, yeah,
Globally,
yeah.
wherever you are, it was Memorial Day weekend.
We have a different day for that, but that makes sense. We have Anzac Day, which is Australian. Anzac, A-N-A.
Why is it called
It's somehow
Anzac?
got Australian and New Zealand soldiers in it, but I don't know what the Anzac stands for. I'm a terrible Australian. I'm the worst to
That's
represent
horrible.
this country.
That's
Like,
really bad.
I mean,
Hey,
you know.
I do my minute of silence every fucking year. Thank you very much. I do my best.
Well, I just want to say, because Memorial Day did just pass, we at the Milk and Toast podcast absolutely abhor and oppose war. But mostly we abhor people who die fighting in the wars
Claire's
for
like,
other people.
I don't know.
Yeah, look. Is this a topic? 'Cause
Ooh,
I
spicy.
got
If you want to start.
I'm
Just say
I
you're
just feel like-
pro-war, Claire. Damn.
I'm not pro-war though.
I'm
That's the
kidding.
thing. I just
I'm
struggle
kidding.
with that whole topic because I think people who are saying that they're anti-war aren't taking into consideration everything that's surrounding the war. Like, I'm anti people dying for no reason, but at the same time, not everybody's anti-dying for no reason. So therefore, like, you know what I mean? Like,
True.
it's something like if our country, for instance, I'll just use Australia as an example because America's too complicated with their politics. No offense.
No,
but if
that's
Australia
true.
just didn't have any armies, didn't have any defenses, didn't have anything, America, Russia, everyone would just come and fucking blow us up. Like, we'd just be like defenseless. Like, we'd just be fucked. So
That's not war, Claire.
Yeah, it
no,
is.
but it becomes war when we fight back.
Yeah.
That's still, well, technically, but that's not even
Yeah.
what I mean.
What
Yeah.
are you talking about?
I don't know what you're
For me, don't get me wrong, because I misspoke. Yes, because I mean, once someone starts a fight with you, obviously you have to engage in that battle. But I'm not talking about that instance. I'm not talking about someone putting up their defenses. You have right to defend and you protect yourself. I'm talking about imperialism. I'm
So
talking
maybe you
about
should say
fucking
anti-imperialism.
Yeah, that's
instead
probably
of-
true. And I make mistakes because I'm not a perfect human being as y'all expect me to be. I
We're
know.
not-
But
No, I didn't
Okay.
listen. This is Claire's
I'm just fucking
argument.
around. I'm just fucking around.
I'm just
Yeah,
watching.
I don't know why.
No, I'm
you're
just
getting
fucking
so,
around. I'm just fucking
I
around.
don't know why you're getting so defensive because I honestly just had my own opinion on the matter. I
Claire.
wasn't even against you.
Claire.
Yeah.
He's high and paranoid, man. Come on,
No,
give
not
him a
shit.
break.
No.
Just give
I
him
wasn't
a
even getting
little,
defensive. I was just,
No,
I was like, it sounded like I should probably clear up what I said because what you said made sense. I was like, okay. And Logan's
Well, you
also
can
right.
change your mind. Like, you can
That's
be
what
like,
I'm
oh,
doing
no,
right now."
that makes sense without getting really defensive.
Oh,
Yeah,
did it?
just
Oh,
give him
did I?
a little break. Give him a little break. You know.
I'm anti-imperialist to the max. Then I guess is better to say, which is closer to the truth. I'm so anti-imperialism. It's not funny. Because then you're flat out like starting and engaging in wars for the purpose of literally taking what's not yours.
I agree. Essentially. Not in those words, but my views are pretty much along those lines.
So once we start running video, you should start thinking about putting the podcast on Twitch too, if it isn't already.
I mean, normal things aren't.
No, sorry, Claire. That's technically Claire,
don't
not a
mind me. Ignore
negotiable.
me. I didn't do that. Let's pretend I didn't do that.
Because once we start shooting a video, it'll just be the way to help the growth at the end of the day.
I know. Yeah.
And we
You
talk
know
about
me. I
video
say
games and
at
certain
the
things.
idea of us getting brand deals because it means I'll have to put in I'll have to have
Effort.
photos taken on me. Like, I'm just because I have to exist.
You did your makeup today, Claire.
I can't wait to be in the studio with Claire being uncomfortable taking shots and just teasing her the entire time.
I know. I'm
might
a,
be
Kick
so
you in the
great.
stomach, motherfucker.
That works for me. That's fun as well.
Just a shot of Mitch being like, oh, and me being like,
Like, oh, and yes, and then, oh, God. I'm so ready. As you can see, I'm already ready for this. I'm so professional.
I'm gonna get Claire that work visa. I'm gonna get her that work visa.
You don't have to. Technically, she could just be visiting, and then
can
you
you
just
also
gotta
pay for the
you gotta
ticket
put it
though,
on the
'cause I can't
paperwork.
afford that.
Pay for the ticket and the work visa. I made her money.
If she's visiting and we make a video, we just have to make sure she gets paid and
Also,
the taxes
can you house
is right.
and feed me?
Yeah, actually.
No, work visas are cool. Don't you like get like 6 months on a work visa or some shit?
You do, yeah.
Yeah. You could like stay like in America for like 6 months and then like do the show for 6. Because she could do the show in person, Mitch, and we could like have a studio. You know, I have big dreams, Mitch. Did I ever tell you that?
Okay, here we go. All right, guys, excuse us. Logan
Here's
wants
the reality of that situation, though.
Yo, Logan wants to scream at me about the
money.
dreams.
You don't have money?
I don't have money.
Yeah, man. Well, I have money, but it goes towards
Stuff.
my livelihood.
Listen,
Right.
you know what?
future.
I'm gonna talk to you guys after the show about how we gonna put the show on. But you know, we can't talk about this in the middle of the show. Like, there's a lot of
We do this a lot, actually.
grimy
Like
shit
the
that's gotta
Linktree
happen
stuff.
first, and I can't just say that in public. You know?
Why you got to put that in private? Are we the people who don't put the grimy shit on the cast? Is that who we are?
No, we don't.
I hate when he does this.
Oh, all right, my fault. I'm glad you said it now.
Yeah, there you go.
I was gonna pull the motherfucker out, put the gun up to his temple, like, yo. I said we need 500, okay? We need 500 million views. You gonna let us roll through the media, right? Oh, my fault. So no, guys, that's not actually happening. There's no gun. There's no person.
Yeah, I'm like, Mitch, not on live stream.
Oh, my fault. They can see me right now. No, this ain't happening. Yo, smile, motherfucker. I said smile, motherfucker. Now I kind of want to say I could set that bit up in person first.
So who got their vaccine?
This is what he
Why
wants
do
to
you
go
have to
to.
ask it like that?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't understand.
Yeah, you know what? We have these
Why?
pre-talks and then he does the shit. It's like, what was the point of the pre-talk?
You
didn't
know
need to
the
talk
answer
about
to that.
it, bro.
You could have done it in a way which wasn't so like fucking.
You know, yeah, shaming.
Oh, so nobody
trying to do
but
it for the
Logan?
pod,
Nobody but
never
Logan
care.
got the vaccine?
Okay, this is
Nobody
where you're
but
taking it to?
Nobody
It's
but
not
Logan
a
is a
shame
responsible
thing.
adult?
Thank you very much.
You said what, Claire?
It's not a shame thing. It's a time thing.
Is it time thing?
No, I was just saying the way he did it made it feel like he's shaming us.
Yeah, and that's not chill. You don't
We
know what's
bit.
going on in my
We
life.
bit.
You don't get to
Yeah,
fucking
man,
judge
I'm
me
sorry.
just because you did it. I'm glad you did it. I think people should get vaccinated. But that doesn't mean you get to come up here and be all hostile towards me.
Yeah, Claire's in Australia, man. I mean,
we do have the vaccination here, and I am intending on getting it. Like, that's not a thing. That's
How long
not
have y'all
happening.
had it?
The Australia government. I mean, the
No,
Australian
how long
country.
have y'all had the vaccine? I mean.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. A couple of months now, I think.
Oh, okay.
Can you remember the specific
My
month?
aunt and uncle are not fully vaccinated. I think they need the
Half-vaxxed?
second one. Yeah.
It's okay to be half-vaxxed.
But so people are getting vaccinated. I just haven't yet.
Okay.
I don't need to
what about
explain
you?
myself to you, Logan.
Well,
I quarantined during the quarantine, Logan.
that he didn't quarantine for, right? Yeah, we remember that.
Yeah.
Cool.
I didn't catch COVID
Yeah.
though.
Good for you.
right.
You
That's
could
nice.
have, and you could have caught it, not had the intense amount of symptoms, and then passed it on to an innocent without even knowing.
Yeah.
Because that's COVID,
Also
bitch.
true. Also
Sometimes
true.
people don't portray the intense symptoms that other people get. Sometimes people don't die, but are just carriers.
Yeah.
That's why we
like
were supposed
you.
to stay inside.
But look at you. You're not
See, this is
quarantining.
why you don't wanna
Actually,
fuck
Claire.
with me, Logan.
Actually, Claire, I couldn't stay inside because I'm an essential worker. So,
You did. Oh, fuck off. You essentially worked and then essentially worked your dick. Don't come at me like that. I know you.
She know what she did. She know what you did, bro. She was there. She seen what she was doing.
I was there.
Exactly. Yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
listen.
He'd come on
During-
call to me and
during
cry
the pandemic-
because of some bitch, and it was like, it's the middle of fucking COVID, dude. Go home.
We all, during the pandemic, everybody needed different services. That's all I'm saying.
I fucking
Like-
hate you.
Wow. Wow.
Some were more essential than others. That's all. Y'all can't kill me. Stop it.
No one was trying to kill you. It seemed like you were going to
Claire.
kill yourself.
Claire was. Claire was. I know Claire.
Yeah, well, revenge.
Seemed like you was out to end your own life, man.
No, I got the vaccine and I got
You didn't, so shut up.
No, I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say something positive.
Positive?
I'm sorry.
Think you're here for any other reason other than your ego?
All the time.
No. Carry on.
I was going to. No, don't carry on.
Carry on. What? No. Carry on.
I was just saying that. No, I brought up the vaccine for a reason. It's an important thing. You guys should get the vaccine. And I'm not just talking to you two. I'm talking to everybody who's listening.
Everyone. You should
get vaccinated. No, get vaccinated because it's gonna be a big summer. Everything's opening up now, and
it's winter here in Australia, which is cold season. So everyone should get vaccinated.
Yes. I didn't really have a lot of symptoms when I got the vaccine. Like the first time I got the vaccine, the only thing that was really the problem was like my arm was sore for the whole day, and so I didn't get sick at all. Right. Second time, I just got it yesterday. I'm not sure if I got sick. I might have had a fever last night, but I slept through it. So I just woke up with a headache today. Felt a little queasy, but other than that, I'm okay. Like now, like all day, like at work, I just felt like crap. But like now, I just like feel great. Like I feel good. Like
that's good. I'm glad.
Hit me with COVID, baby. You can't hit me. You can't kill me.
Don't say that. Because there could be a mutated strain that's just going to come at you hard.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Do you guys want to hear about how I got actually hit with COVID? How I nearly actually almost died from this disease?
I thought you said you caught it. Now, did you catch it or not?
No, I caught it. But you want to hear the funny thing? I caught COVID while taking care and quarantining to make sure I didn't catch COVID.
So how did you catch it?
Yeah, how did you catch it?
So living in my new space, I quarantined here for a little bit first before I moved in. One of my roommates, her boyfriend at the time, he was trying to work still and everything. His roommate was an essential worker as well. Caught it, didn't know, spread it to him without him knowing. He was coming in to see, his significant other, and he came in. It spread, and yeah. Like,
see, this is why.
No, I get it. But we all took precaution. They mask up, they go everywhere, they get checked. It was just that one time. Yeah, that one time is all it took. And my quarantining ass, who wasn't going outside, who was wearing a mask inside for the sake of the roommates, you know what I mean, and taking for everything else, then eventually ended up getting COVID.
Good. Yep.
Yo, not being Logan. And eventually I got it, and all the roommates in the house got it.
You were irresponsible, and it pisses me off because I know you're smarter than that. Anyway, go on with your story, Laura. Fucking Mitch.
No, I was here. I was here for you to keep,
yelling at him,
reprimanding Logan.
Yell at Logan. Go on.
It's not personal.
I'm gonna let y'all yell because y'all don't even get the vaccine. So it's like whatever.
Stop sitting on your fucking high horse. When you didn't do jack shit, all you did was get a needle in your arm, and now you're acting like you're better than us. Like,
yeah, I got
you.
Yeah, I got the
you got
good.
Superior.
Yeah. I won.
Me and Mitchell are gonna come to your house.
Yeah,
he's gonna hold you down, and I'm gonna fly at you.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? You're gonna beat the vaccine out of me?
Yeah.
No, but we could just beat you into an inch of your life like code was supposed to for you always sneaking out.
All right.
Give you brain damage.
Y'all getting real saucy, but listen, that's not gonna happen. Now
I'm
stop.
a saucy bitch.
So sad.
Ridiculous. As soon as I said it, I was like, why? When you say something and then you judge yourself, you're like, oh, God,
you're like,
that was gross.
God, I didn't even take it that far. I shouldn't have taken it that far.
I'm a saucy bitch. Oh, go kill yourself.
I love how riled up you guys are. Like, you guys are like hype as hell.
You rile me up. Okay, can I just say, Logan, no one gets me as agitated as Logan. He has this arrogance about him that just pisses me off because he ain't shit. And he's walking around like... he's walking around, especially when it comes to stuff like this, when he knows he did something wrong.
Oh, man, the face. She's not even doing this
Claire,
with
why
you
you
right
always
now.
gotta bring up old shit?
Yo,
why are you always gonna do old shit and then not admit to it and then stay accountable?
Well, because I mean, I know I was there. I know what happened. And nothing happened because
you were there. You knew it was wrong. You did it anyway, and now you won't admit to it.
I did not admit to anything. I didn't know I was supposed to admit to anything. I didn't know. What was I supposed to? Am I on trial?
Logan, I'll out
Is this the trial of the century?
No. Oh my god.
You should play along, Claire. Damn, it's a show.
I don't want to play along. This is my bit. No. I don't play along. I get aggro. That's the thing. Remember?
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
just Go get vaxxed. And the funny thing is I worked to vaccinate other people, and it just took me so long to find out that I could register myself that now I'm just like, I'll get to it. It'll happen. Which is what's going to happen.
So just to Logan in edit, I apologize that I did the opposite mute button for vaping. So I unmuted myself to vape and then muted myself again to talk, and then realized and then unmuted myself again. So sorry about that one vape that I did. That was an accident. I've been on it this whole time, but that one time, sorry, Logan in edit.
You have been getting better. Yeah, you have been getting better.
Yeah, right. But I do, back to the point, everyone should get vaccinated. I do plan on getting vaccinated. I can't give you a date and time because it's not your business, but I do plan on getting vaccinated. I know Mitchell does too. And we got to, what's the word when it's like you group, like when you have a group immunity, like if you all go to...
Herd immunity.
Yeah, a herd immunity. That's a really real thing in the sense that we can actually fix this situation if everyone does what they're supposed to.
Yeah. Like, get vaccinated. And wear a mask.
Yes.
You should wear
a
mask. Yes.
For fuck's sake, the amount of people in Australia alone.
Nobody's wearing a mask anymore, though. Like, nobody's going to wear a mask anymore.
And they look at me like I'm weird. I'm like, I'm not dying, so fuck you.
And you are weird, so, like, I guess it's a win-win. Well, I mean that in a positive way.
What is going on with this show right now?
What's wrong with being weird?
You say this every week. Every week, he's like, "Oh, I don't understand."
He's like, "What are you guys doing?" But never stops recording.
Never stops recording. What am I supposed to do? Knows who we are.
What am I supposed to do? We record until the end, whether I like it or not. So hey,
yeah.
I was actually explaining that to one of my friends today.
I was just like, yeah. I wasn't not agreeing with you.
I know that's the. It was. I was
just sort of trying to hurry it up so I could say my thing next. It's like talk to me next.
Say your thing, man.
If you get that reference, you're my best friend. Logan, what was I going to say?
I don't know, darling.
Oh, yeah. What I was going to say was I think people just are so desperate to get back to that quote-unquote normal we were talking about, I think, in episode 3. You know, the one that's never going to exist again. That the second they have it, like they can start to like trick themselves into believing that it's over. They're like, masks off, let's go. I want to be normal. I want to go out to clubs. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I can get that. Like, I understand it's been hard. There's some people who've had it even harder, you know, like shit's not easy, but if it just reverses all of that hard work everyone's been putting in, you know? Mm-hmm. And I don't know if we're ready to segue yet, but that does go into that documentary. No, it's not a documentary. It just feels like one. It's a special. It's a comedy special Bo Burnham did.
Okay.
And it's called Inside, and it was he basically quarantined himself inside a room and did a special for 2020 because he could. I don't know. He wanted to. He was feeling like it's something for him. It was something for him to do during the quarantine. And this is why I do get shitty at Logan and stuff. I'm not trying to attack him at the minute. I'm just trying to say this is why I get so amped up, because there were people out there who didn't have human contact for a goddamn year. They were trying to do the right thing so much that they suffered for a goddamn year. And then because of people who go out there and just want to take their masks off and live normal lives and get their dicks wet, he now has to like quarantine again. He has to go through that again. It's completely just undone all of the hard work these people went through because you can't wait, you know? And it just frustrates me. I just think it's selfish.
I got needs, man.
I think it's selfish.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
Said I got needs, man.
I'm sorry.
Yo,
That one you should be sorry for.
Claire makes good points.
I mean, it's just fact.
I'm sorry. I don't know
It's
what's
not really
going on
good
with
points,
me
it's just
or the
fact.
show right now. I'm so sorry to everybody. But
It's
no,
cool.
Claire, you make really good points. No, I understand. I don't know what to say about all that. I think what happens is no. I think what happens is that you're right on one end, like, but it is also like this vaccine has been like so local in a way where it's like it depended so much on where you live. Like near the same time that Claire blames me for like, you know, going out with people and stuff.
I don't blame you. I'm just pissed at you for it.
That's the same thing. Near the same time, Claire blames me for like going out with people or whatever.
Yeah.
Last year, like that was around like what, May-ish, around the same time
Right
this year.
amongst the beginning of COVID, you know, when it was completely rampant and people were dying. Yeah,
near the same time, like, you know, people, they were like, I was like a mild case at the time because I was only like seeing one or two people.
I know,
who
but
were
that
like,
doesn't make it okay.
Wait, I'm telling a story. Give me a second. I'm telling a story.
He's telling a story.
Near that same time, right? Jesus Christ, I hate you guys. Near the same time, right? You could see videos like of people in New Jersey and New York were literally like kicking people out of restaurants and kicking people out of grocery stores and stuff. Like not just like the people who own those stores, like the actual like citizens, like just kicking those people out of those places for not wearing a mask, you know?
Yeah.
And so like at the same time, I'm like living in Florida where I'm wearing a mask all day, even though I'm at work. But like people are like, oh, it's a conspiracy and all this and that. And they're not wearing masks and they're just running around. And so it just kind of, you get to the point where, I don't want to say you feed into it, but it's like, it's what you're living. So it's like, how do you know that you're not already like sick? How do you know that the people around you aren't already sick when so many people aren't taking care anyways, you know? So
That's
then you can, well,
Sorry.
I think you say it's not an excuse, but it's like, if I'm, it's almost like living in a place where it's like, you could die at any minute, you know? It's not just like the people around you could die. It's like you could die, you know? There was people that
But you can see how that's selfish, yeah. Because you're only thinking of yourself.
No,
you're not
that's
thinking
not what I'm
about
saying.
the people who are sick or the people, you know? Well, what are you saying?
Well, what I'm saying is that when you're in an environment, it's like a big difference being in an environment where people are, where everybody is actually quarantining, and then you're the person that's like running rampant, and you're in a situation where nobody really wants to quarantine, or nobody is quarantining. Nobody's wearing a mask. Nobody's taking any precautions, and the numbers are just going up in your area. And it's almost like at that point, it's not like you're trying to avoid COVID. It's like you're waiting for it in a way, you know? It's like, because the situation feels at that point really inevitable, you know? And even when you try your best, you're trying your best, but you see like the next 10 people, like I'm ringing people up all day long that just refuse to wear a mask. And then the place I work refused to tell them to wear a mask. You know what I mean? Because they just wouldn't they wouldn't kick them out for not wearing a mask because they didn't want them to complain to corporate or whatever. They didn't want the customers to lash out at us or really lash out at us and then give us cause for a lawsuit at work, you know? And so it's a whole bunch of stuff about money being involved. And so it's a big difference than like, you know, places like New York or places like Australia even, where like like you was telling me, like they actually shut down and like people actually were not allowed out. Like they had like an actual curfew and things like that.
Yep.
Where our curfew lasted maybe like 2 weeks, and then everybody's just back on the street. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. There was a shameful fluidity.
It's a big difference, you know?
I can understand that. I didn't know that. That's just crazy to me. I remember when everything was going on, we got it real bad in Victoria. I spoke about this a little bit before as well because of all the money we got. We got it real bad in Victoria, and I think that's because, like New York, Victoria is one of, I don't know if it's the smallest state or one of the smallest states in Australia, but it's quite small and compact.
Yeah.
And then Melbourne on top of that is like nowhere as big as New York City, but it's sort of similar in the sense that it's all just in on top.
It's just dense. Yeah, I get that.
And there's thousands, like millions of people. So Melbourne got hit hard, like real fucking hard. And because of that, people go in and out of Melbourne all the time. Like it's our city. It's like the main hub. So they were coming out to the rural towns, and then rural towns were basically getting decimated because, you know, of how fast it was spreading. So our premier, whatever his name is, the guy who's in charge of our state, not country, but state, just shut it all down. Just completely shut it down. We were only allowed to, there was rules that I can't remember, but we were allowed to go to the shops to get like essential food and stuff. We're allowed to go for 2 hours of exercise and something else.
Oh, they got exercise? That's
but not
so
even
good.
work. We all had to work from home.
But you were allowed to exercise? That's so great.
Yeah, for 2 hours.
That's so fucking great.
We had an 8 o'clock curfew. And if you could exercise at home, it was highly recommended. We weren't allowed to go to other people's houses at all. Like, it was just really intense. And he got hated, like so much hate. Like he got ripped to fucking shreds because of that. He ended up having he's recently had like heart problems and like had to like step down because of stress because, but we literally only have a case of 15 people right now who have COVID. Only 15 people, Australia-wide, I think, maybe more recently. But the last time I checked, it was 15 people because Australia went down hard on other places as well. It's just Victoria got it the hardest because of how compact we are. But he got hate for that, but no one's acknowledging the fact that
he saved everyone's lives.
We did it.
Right.
Yeah, we did it. We fixed it. And it's not like we weren't allowed to go get food. It's not like we weren't allowed to exercise. It's not like we couldn't FaceTime each other. It was hard for everyone. But because people weren't allowed to go out and have their drinks with their friends or visit their parents or whatever, there became a thing called Give Dan the Boot, and someone put a boot on his recently deceased gravesite.
Right.
Like someone decimated his father's gravesite.
Oh my God.
It was rough. Like it was really rough.
That's really fast.
And I even know people who hate him in my personal life. And I'm like, look, man, I don't hate him. Like, I think he did what he had to do. And the lockdown was lifted. Like, it stopped. We're in another lockdown now at the minute, actually. But it's nowhere near as
severe.
Harsh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nowhere near as severe. We just have to stay home for a week at the minute. We're in the middle of that week. In fact, we're actually going to go visit someone tomorrow. I think we're at the end of that week because we are going out tomorrow. So we're allowed to go visit people tomorrow. So, and that was because of the 15 people. So, yeah, which is that's why I'm like, I don't know how many there are now because we've had another lockdown and might have just stopped. But it was only a week. We're allowed to exercise more. We don't have a curfew. We're allowed to go to the shops. And we can click and collect stuff. So I don't know if you know what that means, but if I wanted to go to Juice Cartel or something, I can just do it online and then go pick it up.
Right.
It's not that big of a deal. But the fact that is it Florida State that was in charge of your laws or just where you live? I can't pronounce where you live's name. It's
no, don't say where I live on the podcast.
You're just writing down where to edit it out.
Yes.
Sorry, I forgot we were on the pod for a second.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
I'm
gonna get doxxed. What I was gonna say was that, like, so the problem with America at the time was that Republicans didn't want to believe in COVID. And so you had people like, sorry.
No, I didn't even, I just came, I was like, yo, that's dead it though, bro. Oh, so fucking annoying, though. Oh.
But that's it though. Like, that was it. I think, like, they just didn't want to believe it's real, I guess. I don't know. Like, I don't understand what you do with that. Like, people were actually, like, dying and, like, you know. Like,
they just don't want to seem to acknowledge anything that could, like, make them work. Like, this is just from an outside perspective on Republicans. They just don't want to see, they just don't want anything that, they just don't want to agree to anything that might deter from their, like, roadmap of, in God's name, we work, we eat, we sleep, we just do this. Like, this is what we do. And if you change that, then you're wrong. You know what I mean? Like, that's just what it feels like. I don't know if that's true or not, because obviously I'm not living there. But
I feel like the main reason why they didn't want to believe in COVID was really just the money aspect of everything.
It was only the money. Logan,
I think it was the money.
Other reason. They cared about the bottom line. If we shut down, there's no more work. We care about money more than people.
Right.
Bottom line, plain and simple. They're fucking idiots. I despise them. And I hope they all burn in hell.
Good talk, guys. But no, yeah, that's it. Like, people, like 600,000 Americans had to die because of that. So there's that.
Because America values the bottom line more than it does its citizens.
But you know, the
2-hour fitness session in Australia?
It's like, okay, on one hand, a politician is just like one person, right?
True.
I mean, yes, power and influence and all that, but a lot of the power and influence came from, like, citizens who wanted to believe that and wanted to, in a way, they didn't want to be locked up. They didn't want to be told what to do. It was a certain kind of citizen too. I'm not going to go in too deep about that, but it's not like the politicians were by themselves on the whole thing. I live in the South, and, like, you know, I see people just walking around without the mask all day. And so, like, now there's just, like, when the CDC has, like, its guideline and says that you don't have to have a mask on if you're vaccinated, but then you also don't have to, like, tell anybody that you're vaccinated, you know.
That's valid. Actually,
they're just setting themselves up for failure. Like, come on, be smarter about your policies.
You guys want to hear a guilty story?
Yeah.
So I went out the other night. I was on a date, and so we go to this bar, and they're like, "Yeah, we just need to see your vax card or whatever like that." And the dude was cool because I'm masked up. It's not like I go anywhere unmasked still for the safety of others. So I'm masked up, and he's like, "Yeah, it's all good. You know, we just got to check, and everything's good." But he didn't actually really check. And so I went up to the bartender. Once I got in, she's like, "Yeah, you guys got checked. You're clear." And I was like, "Crap, I don't have a card. If I tell her no, I have to leave. Well, obviously, I'm going to have to tell a little white lie here." And I wasn't checked to see if I was vaxxed, bro. I was technically vaxxed in that bar. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
but
yeah.
In New York City, it was different because we were shut down for so long. I was still masked up before I, like, sat down and seated myself. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's just that, like, now that everyone is getting vaxxed, some people are being, like, strict, whereas there is the opportunity to be more lackadaisical. And once again, people are just reopening up. You're not really trying to turn away business right now.
Right. That's the other thing. Like, people are trying to get that money right now. So, like, but that's how it was in the beginning too. Like, people were trying to figure out how to make money and everything. That's why, and how to not shut down and all that. Yeah. And I get that. I get that people need to eat and all. But it's just, I don't know. I can't.
I just think
like
we're not good at suffering.
Somebody's life, you know, like somebody's life, you know, like you need to make $1. I understand, but you can't just like support like these are like, it's not even like we're talking about another country. Like Americans love bombing other countries, you know what I mean? But like,
don't say Americans.
I'm gonna say it that way because in the context of this conversation, what I mean is that like America does this thing where like if we go to war, like Americans are like for that shit. You know what I mean? Like if we're bombing somebody and we feel like they fucked with us or something, like Americans overall, they're like for that shit, right? And then it doesn't matter how many people get killed, it doesn't matter who gets killed, like they're like, well, they had it coming, you know what I mean? But like the weirdest part about COVID has been like there's been so many Americans that died from COVID, and like the death toll has been like so high, and then like the response to that is just like so muted in a way. It's like 600,000 people die. That's the type of number that of people that actually like die in wars, you know, like over time.
Legit, bro.
Like those are legit numbers.
A war that usually lasts at least a few years.
Yeah,
at least a couple, at minimum a couple of years, bro.
That happened in 1 year.
One fucking year, dude.
And their response is like, nah, I don't believe in COVID. It's just like, what are you talking about? It's
there are precautions we can take. And you know what, Logan? My thing is, it's like, if there was a time for the American government to go, I think we're going to have to dip into that military budget because we might have to support these people out here. You heard me? Like, I think we might have to dip into that military budget.
I heard the joke.
I think we might have to dip into that military budget to help our fellow Americans. This would have been the motherfucking time.
Yeah, they're not doing that.
That didn't happen, though. That didn't happen. All right, let's grind and see what we can get them.
But Mitch, they didn't even get creative. Like they didn't even say like we'll cut funding for schools again and like do it. Like, you know what I mean? They didn't do anything. They didn't move any money around. They didn't want to do it.
Trump's administration was basically, because listen, I'm not a politics dude, but the way it looks like on the outside and the way it sounds when I hear other people describe it who are in politics, it sounds like the administration was scrambling to find solutions the entire time during the most serious pandemic, technically since like the fucking Black Plague.
They were trying to find anti-solutions. They were trying to find the opposite of solutions, because the one thing you can't have as a Republican is the government shelling out checks, you know? So that you can't have everything, like businesses shutting down, and you can't have the government giving people money, you know? Republicans are just against any type of like quote unquote welfare, especially when it comes to if that money's going to come to black people, you know. So we can't.
Sounds like socialism.
Yeah, sounds like
Wait, socialism for the blacks.
So yeah, all of a sudden, you know, you
Get me Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's gone now, but like,
oh right, I didn't. My condolences to that family.
Not
I don't
really.
talk ill on anybody.
But
nah. Okay,
nope.
well, I'm not that person. Logan obviously is. I'm not.
I said nope.
I was like, nah, I'm good.
I am cool on that.
Should have been talking shit then.
He spent his whole life being a racist dick. talking shit, like he made his money. That's how he made his money off it. And then I'm supposed to feel bad for that bitch? I don't. Anyways,
I'm holding back the laughter because I don't want to be viewed as a horrible person.
Let's move on. Mitch, you wanted to talk about mediocrity.
Mediocrity.
You said mediocrity, and he had something to say earlier.
He said toxicity. I don't think he ever said mediocrity.
Yeah,
he did say toxicity, but then he started talking about mediocrity.
No, one of the concepts I brought up. One of the concepts I brought up was like normalizing just it's okay to be mediocre. But I mean, that wasn't the focus point for the toxicity.
What did you want to say
about that? We could talk
about
that though.
Yeah.
Well, so ladies and gentlemen listening at home, you know, me and Logan talked, and I said I wanted to talk about normalized toxicity in our society, American for me and Logan, you know, Australian for Claire. But one of the subjects was like, you know, normalizing mediocrity. And it's kind of complicated because it's like, Because like there's this weird space like in between ground where I'm at, because there are the people who are like, yeah, we don't want to give participation trophies to kids because we're not teaching them something. And I'm like, I get where you're coming from, but I think you're a little bit too intense. While at the same time, I'm also like, well, if they're not playing at all or doing anything at all, then maybe they shouldn't be there or be given a trophy, which is just to start like a further conversation on how like, you know, we kind of get used to people being like average. That's acceptable in our society, especially America. As we talked about education last time, we don't educate people to be leaders. We don't educate people to have strong personalities, have good self-esteem. We educate them to take direction, listen, and work. And that ties into the normalized mediocrity, which is toxic in our society.
Do you think everybody should be taught how to be a leader, though?
To be honest, Logan, it's not about whether everyone can be a leader, but I think everyone should be taught.
Why?
I don't think everyone should be taught how to be leaders.
I do.
Per se. Give me a fucking second, dude. I don't think they should be taught how to be a leader per se, but more how to be self-sufficient and lead themselves. I think they should be taught how to strive in themselves and how to like. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, how they should
keep going.
Instead of just being taught to follow the crowd and to like blend in and to be a normal human being, blah, 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 fucking blah, be taught how to rise above. And that's not necessarily leader energy to me. I guess it can apply to being a leader. But for me, it means I don't want to lead other people. I just want to thrive in myself, you know, personally. So I think it's just like giving you the option to lead, but not necessarily you have to. Does that make sense? Like, I think you should always want better for yourself. And I've fallen into the trap personally where because I want better for myself all the time, I'm stuck.
No, I just sit
because I don't want to be stuck in a dead end job. I'm now stuck because I'm not because I've aimed too high. So I think I didn't get taught any of the tools to get that high.
Hey,
you know.
Hey, Apollo. But
just
Claire,
a casual dopamine break.
What you said on that, you know, what you were describing for a second, I was like, well, Claire, it sounds like you're just describing leadership. And then you were like, but for like me. And I get that. There is a difference there. It's like the personal development. But the thing is, teaching proper leadership still involves that, you know, to me at least. What you're talking about technically isn't, because you're speaking specifically for you, the individual, and teaching independence, which is important. But I think that's tremendously important for proper leadership as well, because you need to know how to do things on your own.
Yeah, I think they're not one and the same. I think one just leads to the other. I think, because when I think of leadership, what comes to mind, and this is just might be me differently, and obviously Mitchell has a different view on it, and that's fine, is when it comes to leadership for me, it's teaching how to lead a crowd. It's teaching how to, confrontation control and how to, like, deal with other people. That's not what I'm interested in. I'm interested in taking something and running with it, you know, and having those skills to back myself up. And as a leader, I can see how other people would see that and want to follow that. But what I don't want is for people to follow that. I want to see, like, if they want to follow me, that's fine. But like to have their own things they want to take and run with. Does that make sense? Like, I'm not very good at explaining myself.
Well, you're making sense, Claire. Even if you feel a bit confused, you're making sense. For me, it's just like you're saying these things, and we're not really at that different places. You know, it's just certain specific things you're speaking to. Because for me, so when we talk about leadership, because everything you're saying, you're like, yo, I want to teach people so they can handle themselves, and that's almost like the first step. The thing you said afterwards is where like now we can get to some meat, because you're like, yeah, if people choose to follow me, okay, but I don't want them thinking they like have to follow me. The truth is, a leader isn't supposed to be, and this is just me how I personally feel about it, a leader isn't supposed to be, oh, the person came up to make people follow them. That's not a leader. You're sus to me. If people follow you, it's because you're leading by example, because you have it in yourself. Let's say we're all brick house builders or whatever. Okay, simple example. I don't know. I'm looking. So
in
we're
Australia,
all
we call them brickies.
Ooh, I like that. Okay, let's say we're all brickies, or is there like a little accent like brickies or something like that?
Yeah, brickies.
Brickies. All right. So let's say we're all brickies. So anyway, we're all brickies, and we're sitting here, you know, putting our bricks together and build up. All right. Claire's got hers. She's doing hers well. Mia got mine. You're doing mine's well. Logan's kind of confused, but he steps in besides Claire. You know it'd be you. You know it'd be you who'd be confused. Anyway, so
Sorry,
Logan steps in. He steps in behind Claire because he's like, oh shit. Yo, man, Claire looks like she knows what she's doing, like she has a good handle. Let me pay attention to what she's doing. All right, fuck, I'm not getting it. Maybe Claire notices and is like, yo, Logan, you're not getting it. Yo, Claire, why you got? Come on, man, we both brickies. I mean, yeah, but I'm the real bricky, and you need some help. So this is how I get things done. Does it help you get it? Logan's like, yeah, actually, I think I'm starting to get it. Oh, and then y'all both ended up building houses. That's leadership. That's fucking leadership. I think that leads
into the whole topic, and I won't get into this too deeply because we'll get off track, but that whole topic of asking for help, that whole topic of normalizing not being okay at something and needing assistance with something. But like that's a whole other thing. What I was also going to say was still just relevant. I can see where you're coming from 100. Oh yeah, that's why I said it. But I see where you're coming from with the whole leadership thing and how being independent can lead to leadership. My ideal, and this is where I felt like we were different, was that someone has already taught Logan that thing. Like someone, you know, it's not. But then again, I could be that person who taught them. So I get the like correlation. Like I get it, is what I'm saying.
I feel like.
Yeah. Sorry, you go.
Were you finished?
I don't know. I was just wondering. Jesus Christ. I could talk too. Damn. What the fuck?
Not over Claire, bitch.
Like, yeah, you're fine.
Not over Claire. Claire's like, no, it's okay. It's okay.
I don't give a shit. Like,
no, I'm fucking around. But what's up? No, don't spend the time to laugh.
I'm sorry. I just thought it was funny. I was like, God,
it was funny. It was funny. We're hilarious.
Anyways, no, I was just wondering because we did kind of get away from what we were talking about a little bit. But is it mediocrity to not be a leader? Like, is it mediocre to not be a leader?
To me, yeah.
Why?
So in terms of talking about the normalized mediocrity, for us as Americans in our country, Logan, like I said, you haven't been raised to be a leader, and there was an express purpose in not giving you that education. Like I said before, Apollo did a cute cat paw thing on Logan's chest, and me and Claire almost swooned. Yeah. I got you, Claire. I seen it, and I was like, no, we can take the time. He was like, yo, attention, and I was like, oh.
He almost ripped half my face off, but yeah, sure, cute.
He's descended from lions, man. What you mean? He's supposed to almost rip it.
That hand came over. I was like, I did like the whole Matrix and everything away from him. I was like,
okay. But it was cute because he stretched his tiny hand.
Yeah, he did. He stretched them. He was like,
elongated his tiny sharp claws.
Anyways,
So America's sit here normalizing it. Like, of course, we have those aspects of picking out a leader, but you have to be, for us, it's like, yeah, you got to be exceptional. That's the only way you're worth being taught that. And so that's what I mean. It's been normalized to go, yeah, some people are just, not going to make the cut.
Isn't maybe that wrong?
I was saying that wrong. Where did we?
No, I'm saying, isn't it maybe it's wrong to think that you're not exceptional if you're not a leader. I mean, I would definitely agree to that, Logan. That isn't per se like what I'm saying. That's just like the basic thought I feel like behind that, in terms of like how do you pick apart when you're looking at your audience or your pool to pick from, you know what I mean, in terms of like developing people. But I'm just saying, like, it's so normal in our country for it to be like, yeah, just go to school, get a basic education, go get a job, and just, fit into somebody else's fucking shape, you know what I mean? Just listen to someone else who's going to tell you the right thing versus getting someone to understand the world themselves and the world around them at a level that allows them to function at their best. And I feel we normalize the former rather than the latter. We're sitting here telling people like, yeah, you have to be a certain way when it's like we could just be teaching children from jump. This is how you properly lead, going by what Claire's example was in terms of getting self-esteem and stuff right within you. And then listen, you go out into this world and you do what you need to do. The people you need in your life are kind of going to follow you. Like we didn't per se say that, Claire, but it's kind of what we're getting at. When you lead that well, when you come from that genuine of a space, you know what I mean? People are naturally going to flock to you. It's just going to happen. What you do with that power afterwards is what determines whether you're a good or bad leader. Yes, but then you're talking about these people that are going to flock to her, right? And I'm thinking, well, who are these people if we have all these cooks in the kitchen?
That's what I was trying to say before about if we raise everyone to be independent, then we don't have anyone flocking to anyone else because everyone's just working. You know,
and
we're
now
just
everybody's
doing
working
what we do.
together. No, specific. Now they're working
not
together.
Really, not
then
really.
They're bad leaders.
No,
Logan.
no. Well, I mean that's people. So that's what I mean.
No, you're right. That's the
I think
facts.
that's what I'm
They're
trying
bad
to
leaders.
get at. Is like, do we really want to live in a world where everybody is a leader? Like, isn't there something honorable about being a part of the whole?
So here's my other thing, Logan. It's like if you're a good leader, you also know when to follow. Because like we spoke about this before. Not everybody knows everything. You don't have to be Neil deGrasse Tyson talking on physics. It's okay to be a person who's like fully capable of going into a situation and be like, I'll take charge of this if need be. But it's also okay to be like, I don't really know what I'm doing. And if a person comes along who's like, but I do, to facilitate that person getting it done. That's also leadership, knowing when to step back and follow someone else's lead. To me.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Does that make sense to you?
No, yeah, that part makes sense.
But you're talking about the humans fucking up, and I can't do shit about that. I'm just explaining what I.
But that's what I'm
feel in my heart.
saying. If we can't do anything about that, I'm like wondering how good of it, how. Maybe I should just say my opinion instead of.
No, say well. But before you do that, let me state we can do something about that, but we're not.
Because here's my opinion about the whole thing: is that. I wanted to pick your brain about it a little bit because, you know, we're talking about it. But I don't know if I think it is mediocre to be a follower. I think it depends on what your role is as a follower and what it means, what being a follower means in the first place anyways. You know, fair. Because if on one hand we can say that, you know, good leadership is knowing when not to lead and when to follow, then it can't be that all of a sudden it doesn't make you mediocre. Then if being a leader and knowing leadership is the opposite of mediocre, like that's the premise of what we're talking about. You know?
Well, hold up, man. May I interject to clear something up? Just to clear, just keep in mind because we spoke on what it means to be a good leader and all that. But then we also kind of define like what do we really take as a follower? And now understand from me, for I personally feel about it and from how we've been talking, that good follower was also a leader who would step back like we said and follow.
You guys, when you guys were describing the follower, like it was like somebody that was like, how do I say? It's like somebody that you could imagine is like, fully skilled and fully equipped and fully experienced, you know, and I hear that in a way, but at the same time, I feel like
no, speak for the other side. It's all good.
I know I'm trying to collect my thoughts in a way. I'm trying to gather them so that I can like respond in a way.
While you think, I just had a response to what you just said, which is I don't know if this is where you're coming from, but it made me think of people like who are less fortunate enough to have like the cognitive ability to learn everything as quickly as some of the others of us, like some of us can. Right. And I think there will always be people out there who won't be able to fit my mold of what I would like people to be, and I'd like to acknowledge that because I feel like it's important for me to acknowledge that in the sense that I don't think, like, as much as I would love every human to be like independent, because I'm not even independent myself. I'd like to clarify, like, I'm not sitting here on my high horse thinking that like I'm the best and like I'm so good at everything and people can just follow me. Like, that's not where I'm coming from. I just know I would have liked some more skills in my childhood that would have prepared me for this world a bit better. But I'm also willing to acknowledge that there are some people who, no matter how many skills they gain or how many opportunities they get, might not be up to the same level I would be if I had those same things. Right. And that's just because we are all different and we all have different ways of receiving knowledge. And I have a lot of issues with the school system across the world and how they teach children, because it's only the way we teach children is only one set learning way for people. That's a really ignorant way to say that, but
you're fine.
You know what I'm trying to say? Really,
well, yeah, we have a standardized way of teaching everybody. So
thank you, smart boy. Standardized
one that gets
learning
flustered.
And testing is what fucking it makes it really hard for everybody to learn that way. God, I sound so stupid right now.
My dumb is like wearing on the group. It's
it's like literally infecting. I've never seen Claire this stuff before.
I'm just fucked up. Like,
it's like spreading through the microphones and the internet and shit. Like,
no, you be talking too long, bro.
Everyone gets what I'm trying to say, though, right? Like, what I'm saying is standardized testing and schooling is not appropriate for every single person who is learning.
Right.
And because of that, we don't actually get a proper grasp on people's capabilities. And I understand that and acknowledge that not everybody would be at the same level, no matter how perfect their learning would be for them, just because that's not reality.
I think there's not enough specialized.
That's okay.
Specialized schooling and specialized training for people with different talents. People all have different talents, different skill sets, things that, they really have an aptitude for, things that they really want to do in their life. And so that's why I kind of find the whole leadership like discussion a little dangerous sometimes, because it's kind of doing the same thing in my opinion, right? As like the standardized testing is that we're going off of one perspective of how people should learn. And so like if everybody needs to learn a specific thing, right, and then everybody has to be skilled in a specific thing, we can't all be skilled in one thing. And I think that's what I'm saying is when I'm like, does everybody need to be a leader? Because like if I was talking about, I don't know, let's say sailing was a topic and we were just like the seafaring people, right? Sweet. And like not everybody can be the captain of the boat because, not everybody can be captain of the boat because, like, there's other jobs on the boat. You know what I mean? And there's other people who are, like, skilled enough where they have, like, a natural talent for those jobs as well. Or they might not be skilled for the jobs on the boat at all. They might be dock workers or whatever, right? But if we're all training everybody to be one thing, then we don't ever really get to that. You know what I mean?
So may I come again?
Sure, Mitch.
Cool. Thanks. So. That's valid and fair, but now we've kind of gotten into educating people versus just what does like leadership look to us?
That was the topic. No, that was how.
No, the topic was normalizing mediocrity and stuff, and I get where you're coming from.
But through education,
I wasn't really trying to go based off the education per se, but you can use that as a lens. Okay. But what you're talking about now is like how we educate people, which is fair because like how do you do that? But look at what we've been discussing here right now in terms, because now basically what it's become is, how do we, educate to create, this leader followership, relationship that works the best for people. You know what I mean? In one sense, to simplify. Right. And so it's just like, so what we were getting at before was just like what leadership looks like or how it should function per se. And now we're getting to all right, so how do we educate people to get to that point? And that is the hard part. But so what are some of the things we brought up? All right, so we're sitting here, there's not enough specialized schooling. I mean, there's not enough resources in education. Right. Talking in America alone, there's not enough resources for education. Right. So it's like we get to set those standards as the educators. And I don't mean us per se. I just mean,
I just don't like the idea of follower being a dirty word. That's the only thing I don't like. It's just that when we like take followers and then say like, why can't you be leaders and like this and this and that? Like we always do that thing. And it feels like we have like such an individualistic type of society where like everybody has to strive to be number one in this and number one in that and the one guy for this and the one guy for that.
You want to talk about more normalized toxicity?
Well, but isn't that what it is though? That is what
the one you just specifically brought up is even different from embracing the mediocrity. So now you just brought up,
wait, slow down before we go on to something else. I am talking about the mediocrity thing because it's like if I only define one aspect of it as mediocre and only one aspect of it as excellence, then I think what I do is I kind of I kind of make this self-fulfilling type thing for people where, let's say that you're a person, right? And you just don't have any, you shut up. You don't have any type of leadership skills at all, right? And now you're like being told your whole life that you should be a leader in this field and you should be a leader in what you do and all this and that. And it's like you're trying and trying and trying, but you never really get it right because maybe that's just not what you should be doing. Like we see that all the time where like George Bush, for example, like now he just paints on his ranch all day when maybe he should have been a painter instead of like a president. You know what I mean? Because like he really wasn't doing too good at the whole president shit. You know what I mean? So it's like, but like his whole life, he's got parents and people around him that are like always expecting him to do better, quote unquote. And like the do better part that they're asking him to do is like some shit that he never really was equipped to do in the first place. And then it ended up making so many things worse for everybody else. You know what I mean?
I wanted to go to a separate place, but the fact is...
And then, wait, if I could say one more thing. And then at the end of the day, right, if we look back, what ended up happening is we ended up with a mediocre president out of him. Because of somebody trying to fight against the grain so much about
We've come full
circle. What I mean?
And that's why when you were bringing that stuff up, sorry, I'm just going to jump in real quickly just to say something real quick. Yeah, sure. That's why when you brought that up was when I instantly thought of just people, not even like the cognitively undeveloped, but just people who aren't up to that level. Yeah. And they won't be. And they're still valid. Like we shouldn't dismiss them just because they can't think as fast as I can, because that would be cruel. Like, I don't want to be cruel. So when I was saying what I was saying, I was coming from my point of view and where I would like to be and what I wished had happened for me, but which wasn't like unintentionally selfish. But then when you started talking about like what's wrong with, I can admit that, what's wrong with
no, I just meant how
being a follower, it made me realize that maybe made me realize I was being selfish and was like, damn, what about these people who just can't do what I can do, even to like my level now? Like, it just made me feel bad, but like made me think in a good way,
Damn it, guys! Now I can't talk about the thing I was going to talk about because I want to talk about that instead, because that's also still no. That's great. It's honestly fucking wonderful. It's just that's also really a part of the like everything you just said is literally a part of the normalized problem because we haven't even necessarily fully like really disagreed. We all just are now. We literally this entire time have just been talking about like, yo, so what does that really look like? And it's like. Because so you say that, and it's like that's also part of it, because it's been so intuned in us and you're like, somebody can't do that, and it's like, okay, so you said that and you didn't mean anything bad about it. You're like, what if that person can't do that? Of course, that makes sense, but we don't just give up on that person.
No, I don't think that's the right response.
No, but I'm not saying that's what you guys are saying. I'm just saying, like, so you're like, that person can't do this thing. That's maybe true, but we don't just give up on that person. Okay, so we just have to look at this person, reevaluate. That didn't work for you. What does? Okay. And that comes back to like the specialized things we need. But it's like, and that's the other thing that's been normalized. We don't look at the person and go, all right, this didn't work for them. How about we help them find what does? We look at the person and go, oh, that doesn't work for them. Oh well,
they can't
let's
do
find
anything.
someone. Let's find someone who it does work for.
Right.
And you guys know that. You guys have to know that example of the illustration. It's the dude sitting at a desk, old guy, and there's like a fish in a bowl, a chimpanzee, like a tiger and a dolphin. He's like, all right, for us all to see who has the highest IQ, you all have to climb that tree.
Right, yeah.
And who's gonna obviously come out the best? The chimpanzee. What's little fish supposed to do? Now, of course, that's like haha funny, but in like a perfect setting, it's like shit. All right, we couldn't get fish to climb the tree. Was there another solution to get fish up the tree? No. Okay, well, there's nothing wrong with fish. Obviously, that isn't meant for him. He seems to be good at swimming, though. Maybe we should just work with him on that.
Yeah,
I think that's just a very simplistic view on it.
I think on that same note, though, is like, yes, you would have all these. See, that's what I mean. Like in all of those animals, they all specialize in the thing that they do, right? But I think what I'm trying to talk about when I'm talking about leaders and followers is that I get where Mitch is coming from, but there has to be a look back into like, okay, you have the fish, right? The fish can't climb a tree. Maybe the fish is great at swimming, right? Well, put the fish in its environment. Is the fish the only fish, or is there 100,000 other fish with him? Now, if there's 100,000 other fish with him, what are all those fish supposed to be doing?
Swimming in a school?
Okay,
flawlessly and effortlessly to
but no,
avoid predation?
they all swimming in a school, right? But that's what I mean. Like, they're all a part of something much bigger than just what one fish is great at, or what one, like, they're all doing an action all at once. Like, when fish swim in a school, they all react as according to the needs of the group, not necessarily to the needs of one fish over the other.
That
right?
is true.
So that's what I mean. It's like, it's on one hand, it's great to be a specialized person and to be a leader and to be these things. But then it's also great, I believe, I don't find anything mediocre about being a part of the whole, which is your function in the machine is important too. Like, we all survive because of people every day that may not necessarily, like, when you go to a restaurant and you eat a meal, right? The meal was good because of the people that were in the kitchen and the people that got the food to you on time. It wasn't good because of the manager per se of the restaurant. Now, if you have a bad manager at that restaurant, that food might not come out right, and it might affect the food, right? But 9 times out of 10, like, the people who are actually cooking the food and doing the everyday work in the kitchen are not the people who are necessarily leading the kitchen or necessarily
yes, the hell they are.
No, not all of them. That's what I mean by that. I'm not saying that there aren't leaders in those sections. I'm saying
okay. I was like, what are you talking about?
No, I'm saying that no, because I've worked in the restaurant before. There are leaders for waiters, and there are leaders for the chefs.
Whoever
and there are
steps
leaders
up
for all that.
And people usually like fall in line. And if
yes,
I can get on that example,
but I'm saying though that, like, everybody has a part to play, and, like, unless you're actually directly getting paid for some type of management, even if you're stepping up, you're not necessarily, that's not your position all the time. So sometimes your position that's okay. Sometimes I know, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes your position is just to cook, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong if you're just
you can be a really
waiter.
good cook
You don't
too.
have to be like, the star chef of the night.
No, we've come, and I think we've kind of come back to it a little bit, because it's like, so you say that, and you're like, yeah, that's not the star chef, and I'm looking back at you like, what do you mean that's not the star chef? That's
because there are people who aren't the star chef. That's what I mean.
If you're the person,
there are people who just aren't the star chef. There's people that.
I mean, if you're the person in the restaurant, and you're the one who everyone's flustered, and you didn't have.
I'm talking about the people who aren't the ones you're looking to in those clutch moments. I'm talking about the people that, like, there are crisis situations when you're in the restaurant. Yes, I get that. And there are all those situations do exist when, I was working at a restaurant one time, and this one cook, because I was running expo, right? And so that just means that you're trying to get the orders out and you're trying to get them to the right place, right? And so you're organizing and you're going back in between, like, cooks and waiters and busboys and all that, making sure that everybody is basically on task and making sure that everybody is, like, trying to get the food out where it needs to go. And you're really just taking requests all day, right? And so one of the cooks, he liked to, like, light a pan, like, when you have, like, fajitas on a pan and they kind of light it on fire a little bit. He liked to, like, really light it up, right? And, like, you would have to, like, kind of like blow it out, right? This one time, he lit it up so bad, though. Like, he was playing too much. He lit it up so bad, like, the whole restaurant almost went up in flames. And I blew it out, but I was like, God dang. Like, if I didn't blow it out, like, in that moment, because, like, everybody was like, oh, shit, right? Like, I get what Mitch is saying. Like, there's a time when, like, there are moments like that, and some people, like, do stuff, or, like, some people pause. But that's not the everyday thing that happens in the restaurant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, that's, like, the everyday person in the restaurant necessarily, like, they clock in, they do their work, and they go home, and, maybe nobody notices that person. But I'm saying that their work is still important, because if that person didn't show up that day, now we're short staffed, and now we don't have another piece. So it's like,
okay.
I think sometimes it's a little dangerous to say that, you're mediocre because you're not the star chef. You're mediocre because you're not the star waiter or the star whatever at our place. When if you're not there, the whole place starts to fall apart a little bit at the seams. Where if you're not there, like the star chef or whatever is like, it's like whenever, like when you watch like the Jordan doc that came out last year, and they're talking about, it's like the Jordan doc isn't even really about, most of it isn't even really about Jordan. Most of it is about like the entire team. And so like in the beginning, they make it clear that, you know, Michael Jordan was like the best player in the world way before like he was ever really the best player in the world. But the reason why he was able to win all his titles was because he learned how to utilize a team. And he utilized a team that without those parts together, they would have never made it, you know? And they show that even with like star players like Jordan, or even with Scottie Pippen there, or when Scottie Pippen wasn't there, what had to happen for Jordan to like still succeed and still almost barely not even get to the finish line. So it's like, you can be great, but like sometimes you need a number 2, you need a number 3, you need a number 4 person. And then if you don't have those parts, the game is different. The game is different, and most often like the odds are stacked against you. So like when we talk about mediocrity, that's what I try to like think about. Like that's what I mean by when I'm like, does everybody need to be a leader? Because I get what you're saying, that like everybody should be like trained up and everybody should know what it is they're doing. I believe that. But I don't know if everybody should be on the front line per se, directing everything, or like there comes times when, you know, like,
yeah, but that's not what we meant.
Well, a little bit. That's what it sounded like, at least. That's what I'm saying.
No, if that's what it sounded like, I get it. But no, and I literally said that. Sometimes you have to know when to lead and when to follow. So right now we've taken leadership and we've put it into a state of a role or a position. Where for me, it's just like, why don't we think about it in terms of a state of mind? The only difference between a leader and a follower at the time is the state of mind you're in terms of what you need to get done.
What do you call a follower? What is a follower? Why is that such a bad word for you?
I didn't say it was a bad word.
Well, why? Because it feels like you have like it feels like you kind of say it like, well, because at the beginning you said like to be a follower was to be mediocre. So,
well, in terms of explanation, because I think it's normalized to like, rather be like the person who's just listening and taking directions rather than stepping into your own power.
Well, what's wrong with taking directions though?
Nothing's wrong with taking directions. I'm just saying it feels to me that society normalizes you only really being stuck in there, and then we just kind of let the like, the leader or the star player, as you put it, like come out through the process and just like get to them once we think they're worth it, rather than just valuing everybody in general, which is my big issue. But like, it's not about there being a problem with the word follower at all. As I said, to be a good leader, you also have to know when to follow. It's state of mind. And I just don't think people should be, I don't think that state of mind is particularly necessary in the sense when you have it locked into that's all you're capable of. I think you should be the person who's capable of stepping in. Whether you feel like you could handle it at all, you should have the self-esteem to be able to do that in the moment if you need to be, no matter who you are or what position you're in. The example you used in the kitchen I thought was funny. I was about to come in because I was like, yeah, my dude, he was just doing his thing. But I was just going to say like, I mean, yeah, but if he walked in, even the person, like the lowest person on the totem pole just started off, if they had the wherewithal to walk in that day, they led themselves there, you know what I mean? Even in that, there's power in that. They know what they're doing. They're a part of the ensemble, the piece that works together. It's just, I think the piece is just, and it's funny, we're having this conversation now, and I also think it's a part of normalized toxicity, because it's like, it's not like me saying like we need to get rid of following at all, because like I said, state of mind versus role. State of mind versus role. I never said we need to get rid of following. I just said I don't prefer the state of mind of followers, because every leader knows there's a time to follow. Now, I know we get the cooks in the kitchen too many times, and that's the negative aspect, because humans are dumb. Human beings are dumb, and it happens. People's egos get involved. But for me personally, the perfect state is everyone knows, their position, their role. You know what I mean? Not to say everyone has to be in the same place doing the same things. It's just everybody knows what's going on. And in an instant, one person can step up to get something done, and people follow behind them to help them because they're good leaders. And then in an instant, the same thing could happen halfway across the world, just as simply, is what it means to me. That's how I feel about it. But I'm not trying to say, because the way you made it sound just now was like, oh, Mitch, well, there are people there's a place where everybody needs to be, and those pieces are all important. And I'm like, of course, what are you talking about? Every person in those pieces has to know what they're doing. That's still leadership in and of itself. Even if in the kitchen example, for instance, you have the manager at technically, would be at the top or whatever.
Yeah.
You have, the chef staff and all that. Of course, they have to know, what the rules are and everything, who makes this shot or who calls what. But to me, like being able to work in tandem at that level and step up and take pride in what you're doing and know what you're doing. And, back to the self-esteem thing, like Claire said, that all ties into leadership. And I think it's so normal in our society to be like, that isn't leadership. Leadership has to look like that. It's just one person doing it. And it's like, nah.
Yeah.
So I guess in one essence, you could say I'm saying like the word follower doesn't actually exist. There's no such thing. But I guess on the other hand, you could be like, does leadership exist, or are we all just following each other around? But I wasn't trying to talk to semantics. That's just how I feel about it. But I feel in our culture, especially like in America, it's just so normalized to stay at this almost like below average level. It feels sometime and not be given that motivation to want to do more. Now, of course, people are people. Everybody's different. Some people don't want certain things. I can't force that. But it's just like, how are we raising our human beings? You know what I mean? Are we raising them to want to be the best they can be? Or are we raising them to not really care? Or does it not matter because we're raising them to be sheepish and just follow direction? My direction. Whenever I say something, you do it. That's kind of how it feels to me.
I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I don't know.
No. That's fair. That's fair.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I get what you're coming from. I don't know if I vibe with the most positive aspects of what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
No, I know you understand that. Yeah.
I just think it's so complicated that I can't wrap my head around it. And I know that's like a bit of a cop out, but it's not meant to be in the sense of like.
Oh wait, are you thrilled too? Am I confusing you as well? I'm trying my best.
No, it's not that. It's just I think I don't know how to explain it.
Okay. We ain't got to rush. Take your time with it. No, I'm serious.
We're going to sit here quietly for like 5 minutes.
It was not my intent to confuse anybody. I thought this was going to be pretty straightforward.
No, I didn't think it was confusing. It's not confusing. It's just...
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead, Claire.
I think it's just going back to that thing where, you get told something that you haven't thought about before. So you're thinking about it, but as you're thinking about it, you're on a show and you're like, I need to talk. Well, I don't need to talk, but it's sort of like, I feel like I should have a response to this, but you don't know. You don't want to put whatever response just comes tumbling out of your brain after you first hear something onto a podcast. It's not, because what if you change your mind because you need some time? I struggle with the view on parenting, like just that one particular piece of what you're saying, because I understand it's more, you had more to it, but just one piece I can comment on was the parenting thing, and I struggle. I'm not a parent. But I've worked with parents and I've worked with children.
Wait, Claire. Before you get into the parenting thing,
why you end up with a microphone?
Oh yeah, I don't know why I did that. But I was trying to focus on the education. So when I bring up children in an aspect, so you can speak to the parenting now. I wasn't even trying to get there just yet.
No, I understand. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I wasn't trying to. Fuck me. Dumb Claire today, just so everyone knows.
Claire, Claire, it's on a roll.
I was just letting you know if it wasn't my intent to bring up parenting.
Defend himself real quick, even though I wasn't even attacking it.
Don't you start with me. Don't you start. But please, please carry on.
What? What did I do? I was trying to do. So we didn't have like nothing going on in the pod, and like you don't even know what I was going to say.
Yes, I know. That's what I was laughing at too. Like he just like stopped her in the middle of it.
I wasn't getting defensive.
Let's do a poll. Let's do a Twitter poll. Is Mitch...
Listen, I wanted to make sure that you weren't talking about the ramifications of the specifications of the... I was just like, dude.
You could do my imitation better.
Here's the thing. Where our children go and what our children are learning and how our children are learning is reflected on not only teachers but also parents. So I was just going to chime in 2 cents on how everyone is learning how to like on the whole thing, but you know, Mitchell had to have his like 2 cents in there, make sure that I knew that he wasn't, you know, saying something else. Like, even though I was listening and
it's okay.
part of this whole thing.
Yeah, it's okay if we have different opinions. You know, it's a good thing.
I was trying to clear things up. I wasn't trying.
You don't have to though, unless there's something obviously the wrong, like unless there's obviously something the matter, you don't need to clear things up, and you don't need to jump ahead of the game either. You don't need to come in and like make sure it's fine.
Mind reader,
anyway.
Mitch.
I know, right?
Okay, all right, fine.
Can you imagine if what I say now is actually just totally what he was doing?
Well, what are you going to say now?
I'm kidding, nothing.
Don't encourage him. Don't encourage him.
I was making a shit joke. My bad. Anyway, what I was going to say on the parenting thing is because where I mainly have done my like experience, I guess, with this sort of situation is in childcare centres and early childhood education. So these are the little ones. These aren't school-age children. These are small ones. You know what I'm trying to say? Like ages 0 to like 7-ish.
Oh, okay.
And what I was doing was I was basically doing observations on these children and specific children that had like learning difficulties or whatever else, and helping their parents in the place where they work and everything. We were working out how to like what's best for these children. Where do we go from here? Like where you know what I'm trying to say? God, I've got that brain today, but you get where I'm coming from. So keep going. Cheers, God. And I just really struggled a lot because even though the plan, and I know Logan can attest to this because of someone he knows went through this as well, but the parents would sometimes just flat out not want to admit their children needed this assistance. Like it was so frustrating because even when the school, or not the school, but the place where I was working, the childcare centre, would have all these plans in place and be like, you know, we go this way. I think this would be the most beneficial thing for your child. They'd be like, no, my child doesn't have this. Right. My child can't do this. My child is fine. My child is a normal child. And then there's that whole normalization of being normal, you know, because like I find normal such a loose word personally. But this whole time we've been talking about normalizing toxicity, normalizing mediocrity, normalizing. But we don't realize we're normalizing being normal. And then it's like, well, what is normal? And normal is this thing that society's set up that we have to follow. And when we have children or people who don't fit into this set line of normal, it sounds like an insult. And it's not. You know? It's not an insult. These parents are getting offended because we're saying, you know, we can't, they won't thrive in this environment that's normal, quote unquote. And that's offensive to them when it's not. And they're forcing these children into these environments that aren't going to work and is going to cause issues further down the line and into their teenagehood and their adulthood. And they're choosing that over admitting their child might not be normal, which is not even a thing. It's not even a thing.
Doesn't actually exist.
Doesn't even exist. And that's where I was going with what you were saying, because that's just what I thought of while you were speaking. Like I said, I can't really attest to the other stuff you're saying because I'm still thinking about it.
No,
quite honestly.
Maybe
but
we'll
that's
have
something
a
I thought of to
it.
speak on.
No, and to be honest, that's a good one. You go ahead, Logan. You go ahead.
No, because I think that's where I was coming. That's where I was trying to come from. When she says that, is that like, it's like the whole anti participation trophy thing. Is like, perhaps they shouldn't call it participation trophies or whatever, but I don't understand the problem per se when there's so many times when like, if you have an experience, right, which is what I think a petition. I can never speak when I'm on the show. A participation trophy is like it's basically a minor celebration of like your experience in that thing. You know what I mean? Because it's not so much that you participated, because nobody really gets a trophy from participating, because so many of the kids don't really participate even if they're on the team. But they are on the team and they do share the experience. They do share the game. They share, like the pizza parties and their friends and all that. And so there is an experience that comes with that.
Aspect
you know what I mean? And like maybe they don't like baseball. Maybe they don't like whatever sport they're playing, and then that helps them learn what they do like, So I'm never really mad. I'm never mad at somebody having an experience. I never take Little League that seriously. And so, because there's like some people that are like real hardcore about it. They're like, yeah, my kid, he should have been MVP.
People too intense sometimes, bro.
But
the participation trophy thing should be left alone in general. But no, continue. I'm gonna get to that in a second.
When she's talking about normal, it's like, and we're talking about leadership, and we're talking about following, and it's like
normalized toxicity.
It's like, well, who's determining, what's exceptional and what's not? There's plenty of good leaders. There's plenty of bad leaders. There's plenty of good followers and bad followers. It's like. I'm not certain that I can say that somebody who follows is mediocre or who has a follower mentality is mediocre. Perhaps somebody that, just is ready to blindly follow, never thinks about where they're following people into. But even then, you're dealing with a person that probably needs a home. You know what I mean? They just need like a place to like, be secure in. You know
Logan,
what I mean?
When you say home, do you mean they need to belong? Is that what you're getting at?
That's what I mean. Okay, they need like a place. They need a place to belong. There's so many people that like their skills are valid in their skills, but there's other things going on in their mind and in their heart besides whether or not their position in life and all this and that. Some people just want a place to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wanted to.
No, that's facts. This is factual truth.
I wanted to move on a little bit. I wanted to talk about how, because you guys brought up earlier about how, not early on the show, but before the show, you guys were talking about, I guess, reactions people you've talked to have had about the show. People have listened to the show and had their reactions about the show. And I kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit and what those reactions were, what you thought about them, because I get into this place sometimes where like it's very hard for me to like imagine those things, because I get a lot of feedback at home and stuff from like people. I don't really ever really talk about it, but like I do get a lot of feedback from the people I have listened to the show and stuff like that, because but I'm just in a way too close to the show because I'm always in the show. Like my whole, it's like a second job for me now at this point. Where like if I'm not at work, I'm doing something for the show, or I'm thinking about the show, I'm writing something down for the show. So I'm like too in it, to comment on it. I think sometimes, but it was very interesting to hear that other people had opinions about the show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Who did you want to go first?
Anybody really, just share
about like stuff that's been going on.
Go ahead, Claire. I just realized the worst part about just saying, anybody do it. Like, just like,
this is why I did ask.
Thanks.
So I've had lots of positive feedback. I know myself, and I know in the moment when I'm being too vulgar or too aggressive or too much, like just too clear, So I know when I get that sort of feedback, I take it with a grain of salt, just because I am who I am, and that's why I'm here. You know what I mean?
Right.
I joke that I'm the antagonist because, it's just a joke. Like I know I'm a full like 3-dimensional person, 4-dimensional person, whatever it is, that does have more to me than just being an aggro person. But I do get feedback that's positive a lot, that is things like just how I laugh and stuff like that. You know how I'm always giggling and shit.
Yeah.
And like apparently I've got like a contagious giggle and shit like that. I get a lot of feedback about you guys.
No.
No, I was about to say nice things, dickhead. Even Ben was saying the other day, especially to you, like what I was going to say was literally a nice thing about you, Mitchell. Like,
I don't believe you, Claire. I don't believe you.
Come back and hear the nice thing. Come on, sit down. What are you doing?
Wow.
Oh my God.
That weed is kicking. Damn.
No,
All right. I was able to get that out. I apologize for my outburst.
You're okay. So I was just talking to Ben about what we were talking about last week in the Go Home episode, episode 7. And we were listening to me and Logan just go out and be all aggro to each other. And then we were hearing Mitchell in the background just saying some like actually really valid points that just weren't registering in my head at the time because I was a little angry. But he was actually saying some really smart things. And Ben was just like, y'all should listen to him more.
Yo, shout out to Ben, yo. Yo, Ben, you good on any block, dog. Just let me know when you need to pull up, all right? Just let me know. That's all I'm going to say about that. That's all I need to know.
That's cute.
Claire, why would you do Mitch like that? Now he'll never be able to fit his head through the door. How will he get food now?
You just couldn't let me have happiness, could you?
No, it's okay. I knew, like, we smashed him down enough. It's fine. I thought he should hear that. And he also said, everyone always says Logan has such a good host voice, and he always sounds so put together, which makes
what?
Yeah, it's really nice. Like, I had someone say that your voice was really soothing. Like they think that you're really soothing. Mitchell, wow. This is true. This is facts. I'm not lying. Like,
this is crazy. I've never. What?
These are some just nice ass things
I'm
people
still
say
laughing
about
at
you
the whole
guys.
they think Logan's put together. I'm just here for you, buddy. I'm like, damn, Logan.
That's the part I lost.
Yo, look at that hard work, boy.
Let's not ruin the illusion, guys. Come on, pull it together.
Yeah, you're right.
Like,
You're right.
shit.
You're right.
It's this bit out.
Yeah, we just playing. I
Don't-
mean, we just playing. We just playing.
No,
okay,
yeah.
yeah.
No, I want to hear what Claire's got to say.
We're not.
You're like, I'm
Oh, man. Sorry.
And then, yeah, there's some, like, basic ass feedback on other things. Like, oh, God, I just lost my train of thought as I was speaking. What the fuck, Logan? What have you done to me?
You were talking about how great I was and, like, how put together I was. Yeah.
Shut up.
Oh, God.
No, fuck. What have I done?
Yeah, I know.
The monsters I've created.
Yeah, I know.
I got, like, called out for being a nerd and shit.
Well, damn.
But, like,
Okay.
yeah.
So who's
and this is why
house
we
we
talked
pulling up
about
to?
so much.
That's so fucked up.
You're
That's
like,
really
you
fucked
with
up because,
Ben in
like,
the car, like, whose house we pulling up?
Oh, we're not doing that? Okay.
We're not
No, you
doing
can't do
that.
All right,
Honestly, I've thought about this
I'll put my
before. Like,
machete
if
back.
I ever bring Ben over, like, the two of you are gonna like just hit it off and have like lots of fun, and I'm just gonna be sitting there next to Logan bitching about how annoying you both are, and he's gonna bitch back.
You know what? All right, y'all. Y'all go ahead and be that way.
What, you're gonna be all having fun? Like, it's not a big deal. He's gonna be like,
Yeah, but you guys aren't going to be just enjoying the fun. Y'all going to be all like, look at them.
Yeah, but that's our fun. We're gonna drink cocktails and bitch. That's our thing. Like,
It's not fun for me. Cocktails and bitch.
I like this plan.
I knew when he did the adverse reaction. I was like, oh, come on. You know.
No,
You know.
I thought about it for a second there. I was like, this does sound nice.
Yeah.
Free alcohol? Yes, please.
I'm buying. Oh, I see.
I'm
how
saying,
it is.
yeah,
yes.
bro.
Yes, you are.
You ain't chipping in.
Yes, you are. Oh, man, that's
I
funny.
see how it is. I'll make the cocktails, but you're like giving me some cash.
Okay.
I'm down with that. That's fine. Claire, is there anything else that stands out?
Sorry,
Mitch,
yeah,
loan me some cash for cocktails.
God damn. That was supposed to be my cash
Mitch
for
just
cocktails.
gives money for cocktails, and Logan's like, I'm in on that. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
Shit, man. Just like, what? Just like, God damn it, Logan.
give me $5, bitch.
But these were my
one
cocktails.
cocktail.
One cocktail.
Logan drinks 3/4 of it. Just thanks, Mitch.
Stupid.
Sorry, this makes me laugh.
Sorry, Claire.
Oh, fuck.
Yes,
it's
please
okay.
continue. This is
I'm a
actually
part
very-
of it. I'm not any help.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think like I've had some really good feedback. Like just positive stuff. Again, like I said,
Great.
people call me out of my shit, and I'm like, yeah, I already know. So like, I don't focus on that. If
Have
I'm
you heard
gonna stop, I'm
anything?
gonna stop. Like,
Have you heard anything negative, Claire? Anything that like hurt you from anyone?
not hurt me, just like, why you gotta say that, or that's disgusting. You know, that sort of stuff.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, no,
Yeah.
I prepped you
Which-
for that. I told you that was coming.
Well, there's always going to be haters, you know? There's always going to be haters.
Yeah, exactly.
My poor Arnie's not a hater. Just honest.
Well, damn,
always
you
gonna
can,
be
you
haters.
can tell me
Not
who
my
the haters
aunt,
are
Logan.
first.
I said, don't talk about my aunt like that, Logan. Oh, shit. Oh, damn. Oh.
Tell your aunt to stop
please.
hating on the podcast.
Gonna just sip some water. So Claire's aunt, just so you know, we don't feel that way. You know what I'm saying? We hope you're doing well. Except Logan might. I'm looking at his face and he might, but you good on this
Nice.
one.
Speak for yourself, Mitch.
I could have sworn I kind of was in that moment, but yeah.
All this
Whatever.
we and us shit.
Okay,
all
parlez-vous
good.
français, mon frère. Just
think,
so we're
yeah.
just so we're clear.
That's all I have to say on that, though. What
sorry, guys.
feedback have you gotten, Mitchell? Like,
So I haven't exactly gotten too much feedback other than the fact, like, you know, people are listening and they've been enjoying it so far. I have been getting into conversations. Like I was
Yes.
talking with you guys earlier. One of my homies, like good close homie, was like, I don't know if I agreed with everything like that Claire was saying in regards to the like, you know, the nerd conversation we had in terms of like women in certain spaces. And
Yeah.
for me, like as I'm hearing him talk about it, and he expressed himself well enough, but I'm just like, bro, I don't think you really, you know, heard and listened to it, because like you're hearing certain things she said, but not hearing the actual
What
point.
didn't he agree with? What
yeah, I was
didn't-
about to ask. Like, obviously, it's not coming across that he didn't agree with everything. Was there just a specific part that he didn't
It was
relate to?
It was like a few specific parts, but I think it was more on like certain things you said, not exactly the point. And for him, it was like he was like, well, I don't know if it's fair to say that like women are like excluded from nerd spaces like that. I don't, or the better part is say I don't know if it's best to put that on the culture. And it's like, but that still even wasn't the point. And then in terms of when Logan agreed with like the like, you know, liking certain types of how women are portrayed in like media. And he was like, yeah, just because she doesn't have to look like that doesn't mean she also has to look the way Claire described. And I'm like, but Claire
Well,
wasn't saying they have to look
think-
like
Yeah,
either.
I
She was
think-
saying
If I can-
let them live.
If I can like comment, because the comment is made about something I said, right? So if I
No,
can
no, it's
comment
about what Claire said. He agreed with you.
no,
well, that's what I mean. No, that's what I mean.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. My fault. I was
Sorry,
like,
No.
just the way. Like, anyway, go on. Like,
Anyways, if I could comment on like something I said in the other episode, which is that yes, I did make the comment that the intention of my comment was not to necessarily highlight. I mean, I made the joke about how I did like a certain girl that dressed up in like those in like whatever sexy nerd attire or whatever.
yeah.
But that part was the joke for anybody that was listening
And I
and
didn't get that.
and didn't
And
get the ha ha
reacted.
part of that. Okay,
yeah.
so
Yeah, we didn't get there. Claire was
So-
not
Yeah.
there for the shit that.
so hold on,
Yeah.
But the meat of what I was trying to say when I said all that was not necessarily even that, because like Claire did bring up a part where I wondered at the time, what do you do with those girls that are sincere when they do something like that? However, I don't want to give the impression that like that the culture is inclusive because of that, because it's not. You know what I mean?
It's not. And sorry, you.
That's a valid.
Well, I just
that's a
wanted to
valid-
be able to like speak to it because like Mitch is talking about a guy that agreed with me, and I want to speak as a guy on the topic and as being the guy who said the thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like I do
Just
want
trying
to
to remember
say
what I
that
was gonna
like
say.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, keep that going.
So like what I do want to say is that like nerd culture and gamer culture is not inclusive. It's not inclusive to women, and it's not even really inclusive to people of color in the first place. And
not as inclusive as it could be. Yeah, absolutely agree.
I want to say, I don't mind saying it's not inclusive, because when we get into certain spaces, there's still a bunch of microaggressions that happen. There's a bunch of comments that are made that are not supposed to be made, and it's really made because there's a majority group of certain types of people that occupy those spaces. And so when I go into those spaces, when I want to be in those spaces, I still have to deal with those microaggressions. I've had to deal with that since being a small child. You know what I mean? So when Claire was speaking on that topic, I was with her 100% about what she was saying. I don't want things to get twisted. Yeah. I did want an added bit of clarity to what she was saying, and my ill-timed joke derailed the conversation in that way. Yeah. You know what I mean? But what I wanted to, let me wrap up real quick.
You're good.
But what I wanted, no. What I wanted to say was that, like, when he says that you can't put that on the culture, I don't know where else you're going to put it when that is the culture. You know, like if that's a negative aspect of your culture, that's still a part of your culture. And there's a reason for that thing happening. You know what I mean? So like if the culture doesn't clean that bit up, then, and people in the culture aren't cleaning that up, then I don't know who it is we are to blame about this problem that we're having, you know? So it's not that there haven't been advancements made and things haven't gotten better. I don't want to give that impression either.
Of course not.
But at the same time, for where things are and the problems that exist, you can't exclude yourself from the problems of your culture and say that, well, because these problems are A, B, and C, they're not reflective of the culture because that's not what the culture is, quote unquote, about. You know, that's not how that works. You know, I can't just exclude myself from the negative aspects of something. Like I can't exclude myself from the negative aspects of the conversation that I'm talking about right now that happened in the other episode that I said myself, and then say that I had a full conversation. Like that would be so disingenuous for me to come in here and be like, oh yeah, everything I said to Claire that day was really great, and that guy's awesome. Ticka, you know? And I'm not saying that your friend isn't awesome, Mitch. I'm just saying that, you know, the ticka, by the way, was me doing finger guns.
Logan likes to be funny, but sometimes comes across as an asshole. Don't take it personally.
Yeah, I just wanted everybody to know I was doing.
I learned this the hard way. That part.
It's like I just wanted to know what the ticka.
So important.
But yeah, I mean, my God. No, I get that. But so I just wanted that to be cleared up in a way, because I don't want it to become a me versus Claire kind of thing in that conversation.
It's not like that.
Especially when at the end of the conversation I did end up having to apologize and did like actually mean that apology to Claire, because she was speaking on something that I could understand because it is something that I've gone through as well. You know what I mean? So I'll let Claire go ahead.
So I just wanted to say, I understand that sometimes with my emotions and how frazzled I can get sometimes, I can come across like differently to what I'm trying to portray as well. And I didn't mean that, like, I know this day and age women are everywhere, like in gaming. Like we've made our way in. We've made our way in and we're doing it. And that's brilliant. And I know there's so many like guys out there and whatever who are accepting us and are our friends, and it's brilliant, and you know, rosy sunshine. Like I love it. It's great. I was just speaking on me, who's 26. I can't even remember how old I am. I'm like 26 now.
I feel that.
And my journey to get to this point. You know, like I play online all the time, and I have like friends online who are majority male in my experience, but that might be just the video games I play. And they're all accepting, and it's not even a thing. Like it's not a deal. But I dealt with like years of like pushing that barrier and pushing through and watching other people not succeed and watching people succeed and like watching the fight from like in it, like in the thing. And I think a lot of people forget when it's so good now, how hard it was before. You know, I think people forget about how some people really have to fight to get things okay. And just because they're here now doesn't mean it's like perfect. You know what I mean? Because as you're talking about the microaggressions, you know, even just like assuming things like, I don't know, this hasn't happened to me because I don't want to bag on people I play with, so I don't like, I'm not saying this happened to me, but even just like checking in on your female like gamers and being like, oh, are you doing it? Like, not like in a nice way, but like in the game, you know?
Yeah.
And like instantly assuming because of this or that they aren't doing as well. Like maybe just check yourself and evaluate yourself. Make sure you're just not doing that.
Right.
But otherwise, I can see where he's coming from in the sense that like it's better now and it's working now and then we're in it now. Like we've made our way into it. I just don't think he was acknowledging, and maybe I didn't explain it well enough.
No, well,
because I was going backwards and forwards between my past and my present.
No, and that's fair. But Claire, like I was telling you earlier, it's just like so. And I don't want to stay on this because I didn't even finish the conversation with him, like because we had to shoot today. So like I have to talk to him about it myself. But it's just like so for me, I heard how you were saying I feel like I got a little bit too vulgar, and I was like, yeah, I get that, but all the points you were making were I know, but you can still make points when you're angry. And I feel like personally, and this is what I told to him, I was just like, yo, I think you kind of missed the point. But once again, we didn't get to finish the discussion, so I didn't get to get all the way there. But it's still, I was like, oh fuck, and I brought it up to you guys because, like I said, I wanted to talk to you about it, Claire, but I wanted to bring it up to the cast just because I was just wondering, I was like, because I got the point, and I didn't personally feel like you couldn't, like I know maybe I'm a little bit smart or whatever, but I don't think the point was so hard to see. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes maybe people are just getting caught up in things.
You were in it, and that's what I was saying about you're my friend. You know me better than he can know me because we're friends.
He doesn't know you.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Like facts. No, that's facts.
You know me, and you know that like, you know my word patterns and choices and how I can get frazzled, and especially when I'm emotional. So you know that. You know that like. Oh, what else do you know? I don't know everything. Fuck. My brain, it's so not good. This is terrible. How do you do this, Logan? Ugh.
Welcome to my world.
How do you do this, Logan?
I remember now. I remember. I've already talked to you about like just small things about like this sort of situation because me and you talk about anime and stuff beforehand on like before we film the pod and stuff.
Yeah,
so I've already
that's true.
I already briefly touched on this before we even talked about it on the pod. So maybe that's also something that aided in your understanding. You know what I mean? Like there's just small things about how you're here with me and you know me that does give you that perception on what I'm trying to say better than. But I don't talk about anime with Logan because he like is rude about all my anime unless it's Naruto.
God, this kid.
And even then, he hasn't even seen it all.
All of it.
I mean, he's
also
noob.
me and Logan.
It's just One Piece. It's just One Piece.
He's a noob. He's a noob anyway.
Me and Logan fight about our favorite characters all the time. He's like, Hinata's just a blow-up sex doll. And I'm like, you take that back, you motherfucker. Like, it's just intense.
It is saddening. It is saddening that they gave her that exterior only to have her have one of the realest hearts in the
thank you.
Fucking series.
She's a beautiful fucking soul. She is loyal.
Oh my God.
She is heartfelt. She is like just the human nature of getting up and fucking trying. But you know what? Logan can't see past the titties because he's a shallow-minded dick.
You couldn't even see her titties until she put in, and even then she wasn't showing them off like that.
It's not that I can't see past her titties. Don't put that on me like that.
Well, don't act like that.
All right, Logan.
No, it's not that.
Okay,
that's not why I don't like that character.
It's not,
and it's not that I even like that character. I just don't like the idea of like I don't know. I think she just like exemplifies like what like nerd guys think they want out of like a girl, and then like. It's just that they made that stereotype for the show.
Like, no, because women are like her. Not all women are strong and loud like Sakura.
We're doing this thing we're doing episode 6 again. We're doing it again. Yeah, see, now you're doing it to me.
So anyway, most of the feedback I get leads into conversations. That one was going to be a good one, and I gotta touch base with him. But it was just interesting to me because I have discussions like that with him all the time. That's my brother. Like we talk like that on regular.
There's no issue
but I just thought I'd bring it
with
up.
what he said at all. Like I
just wanted to talk talk to you guys. I just thought it was interesting because that's the feedback I'm getting. I'm not really getting, people aren't telling me and I'm asking them like, do you guys like it? Is it good? But people aren't saying like whether it's good or it sucks. They're just like, well, you know,
stop
that
asking
thing you
them if
said.
they're good or not. Just ask them what they think. I would think like I don't
ask them if they're good. I ask them if they.
No, I know what you.
Podcast?
Yeah,
okay,
that's what I meant. Like I don't really want to know if the people think the podcast is good or not. I think
no, I get that. I respect that.
I think I'd rather. What did you get out of it? You know what I mean? Like for better or worse. You know what I mean? I think that's why every time I rap, I say like, you know, if you like the show, if you didn't like the show, you know, share the show. Like, you know, complain about the show. Don't complain about the show, because on some level, I'm like doing like something, you know, devious and evil, but I'm like trying to spread the show around. But at the end, on the other hand, it's just like, you should complain about the show if like there's something that bugs you about the show.
Actually,
or you
it
should,
can lead to a convo.
Or you should, like the whole thing is like you should like talk about it. Like just talk about these ideas and talk about these things that are going on. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'd rather like that's why I wanted to have this conversation, because it's so interesting to me. What are people saying about this show in the first place?
Well, we have enough episodes out now.
Well, we do have a lot of episodes, but even when we didn't, it's like you know, we were always talking about things in this kind of way, anyways. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, that's
so.
fair.
Like the content was always there. You know, it's just, you know, now we're putting in all these episodes and stuff, and like that's how like I talk to you guys, anyways, when we're not like on here and doing stuff like that. Even when we have like our conversations off of here, it's like it's still this. You know what I mean? So it's just I just wondered like what people thought about the things we were thinking, you know what I mean? Which is really cool, you know?
Well, their thinking is what I can tell you from the feedback I'm receiving. And I mean, from both Claire, they're actually like thinking, they're investing in who we are as people, because the fact is we're not putting up no facade, we're not putting up no mask. We come here every day. We talk about the shit we feel like talking about, and we get authentic and real with it every single fucking time.
Yeah.
That's all I come here to do. I don't know about y'all. This shit I got to get off my chest some days.
No, like that's great.
That scream at the world thing, that almost became me crying because of how upset I really, really am at the world.
But you could cry if you want on the show.
I know, but that's not what came. And I have problems crying, which is what we talked about with other shit. But we're not here to get to that. I'm just saying, like,
shit.
exactly. But that's the thing. We're not forcing shit. We come up, we show up, we care about each other enough. We keep
Can you cry
real.
on command as an actor?
When I can get into the role and have the time to really like internalize the pain and the text, yes.
Do you ever feel that's cathartic when you actually do?
No, for me it's actually more release, because I don't cry as often as I feel I should. And so when I do get those moments, not to mention they're not easy, and I don't always get it, but when I do get those moments, like, it's like, good. Remember what that feels like, motherfucker. You still human too.
So that's what I mean. Like in those moments, does it feel like a release? Like even though you're acting? Yeah. Yeah, because for me
acting, I don't try to take it to, you know, that Heath Ledger, you know, fucking what do you call it?
Greatness
method. No, the fucking method acting. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, but I don't go all the way into method, but like in terms of getting into the character, into the role, you know, I get there however I can, and I feel what those people are feeling, or I force myself to feel, and it's why my emotional intelligence is high. But
have
like,
you
it
ever
really
tried?
helps.
Because you said that like you don't really cry, but have you ever tried like using your acting to cry, like for yourself?
No, I separate the worlds.
Would you ever like try that?
No, actually. I prefer to find the moments in my life where I naturally cry. They still do happen. I'm trying to get to I could use acting, of course. It's just for that specifically, I personally don't want to. I might even recommend that to someone or an actor friend if they need it, but I personally am just like, because I kind of separate it. You might hear me say a phrase like this. It's like, I'm a master pretender, but I don't pretend in real life. And that's kind of what I mean by that, because it's like, no, I actually don't want to use the acting to get there. You know, I actually kind of want to see what it feels like when Mitchell gets there. Because
that's real. Okay.
Because when I understand, when I came to the theater, when I came to acting allows you to get in touch with humanity on such a strong level, But for me, I got more in touch with myself when I started working on music. When I started rapping, I was able to find myself in the music, not in acting, because acting allows you to be so many different people. And, you know, you can empathize with those people you're being, you know what I mean? You're living through them, obviously. You can understand what they're going through and learn from them. But the fact is, that wasn't you. You only got there because of the text someone had wrote and because of the work you had to do. Whereas the music, I had to get more in touch with myself. So for the reason I don't want to, like, use acting to force myself to cry, which I could do amazingly well because I have that like psychosomatic type of training in me a little bit, but it's like I don't want to do it that way because now I'm technically forcing the tears that I'm trying to have naturally come out. And so I'm just working through it, you know. I'm just working through my mental health like the rest of us, and I tend to keep the acting separate from that. You know what I mean?
No, that's valid. That's legit. No,
that's how I feel about it. For real. Yeah. I'm gonna get there, man. It's because of the shit we talked about with, you know, shit that men dealt with, you know what I mean? We spoke about that earlier, but it's like I'm dealing with it true. I've made a lot of progress, and I hope to make more, but there's still a lot of shit to deprogram.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. Crying in society is already frowned upon, like, especially when you become an adult. Like, I'm not denying that men definitely got that worst side of the stick when it came to crying. But
yeah, that's fair.
At the same time, you know, I don't feel comfortable crying in public. I know you guys don't feel comfortable crying at all, but I don't feel comfortable crying in public.
Yeah, I get that.
Because of that whole image thing. Because, you know, we as a society, everyone's happy and smiling and everything's fine. Like, you know what I mean? Like, to show any sort of raw emotion other than either just neutral or content or happy is just sort of like embarrassing for you, you know? Like, it's how embarrassing for you. Like, it's just
Or crying gets especially for men, crying gets like a rap of weakness. But then
That's
like
true.
it does, like, I think some women internalize it as that as well, because they're like, well, if it's weak for a man to cry, wouldn't it also be weak for me to cry? And so
I guess not the way you should take that.
Yeah. And it's like, but like that's part of like how it gets spread out though. Like
No,
it
I
still
get that,
affects
yeah.
everybody, you know?
Facts.
We gotta wrap this show up. I think we can. This is a good time
actually,
to wrap this show.
I didn't even notice that we were getting to time, so maybe that means something.
But this is a good time to wrap up. This is a good episode, I think, or maybe it's a bad episode because every time I say it's a good episode, it's a bad episode. So, you know,
I'm gonna listen to it.
I don't think
eventually.
I think we only have one bad episode personally.
I don't think we
I think we have
yet.
at least two. I think we have at least two.
Don't
What's
think
your
we have
second
any.
Huh?
What's your second one? Hold it
What's
up.
my
in
second
numbers
one?
on
I'm
the
not gonna.
I said hold it up in the camera in numbers. You have hands.
I'm not even gonna put that mojo out there. You know what I mean?
Oh, for fuck's sake, just tell me.
I don't think we
I
have bad
exist.
episodes.
My mojo was already out there. You might as well just mix in with mine.
No. That's too much mojo out there.
Do you need to find your mojo, baby? Is your mojo missing, baby?
We were talking about Austin Powers the other day.
No, we were not.
Without me?
We are going home.
Okay, you're right. No, I'm taking that. That's my topic for next week, boy.
You guys are a trip. Claire, do you have anything that you would like to leave the people with?
I don't know why you always do me first. I've said this every single fucking time.
Because he's going to do the wrap up.
You don't know I'm going to do that.
Okay,
Shut
I've
up.
already
You're
said
gonna
that.
do the
You've
wrap
said
up.
that before too, but I
Yeah,
still
you guys
hate
keep
it.
forcing me to do it at this point.
Well, you're better at it than me.
Don't
And you're going to do it
guilt me
anyways.
like that. You don't know that I'm going to do it anyways, bro.
Thank you, Mitchell, for having good points that I don't always hear because I'm very self-centered sometimes. Thank you, Logan, for keeping everything together, even though you was a hot mess. But at least we're convincing the people you're not. So that's good.
that's crazy.
That's
Yeah.
That's all you need in the industry, baby. Just fake it till you
Thank you
make
to
it.
me.
Eventually, you gonna make it.
Thank you to me for being the antagonist and not being afraid to like talk about gross things. And thank you to everyone listening, because every listen counts, and we are grateful for every single one of you.
Yeah.
If you got an unintentional shout out today through our reviews, thank you for your reviews, because they really count. And if you do want to say anything to us, please just let us know. And if you want to hear us talk about anything, please just let us know. Yeah, I hope everyone has a really good week, and to stay happy and healthy.
All right. I like that one. That was probably like one of your best ones, Claire, to be honest.
Thank you.
That was a really good one. I like that one.
It was just so touching.
So Mitch, do you have anything you would like to, anything you want to leave the people with?
I'm so just Claire, she just grown so much, you know what I mean? From like, like the first episode, you know what I'm saying? She was like worried about shit, and just look at her now, bro. Just spread her wings.
I know, I have like a podcast voice.
Yeah, just look at the clothes just now, bro. It's just like, you know what I'm saying? You still dumb as fuck, you know what I'm saying? And Claire out here just, spread wings and fly. And that means there's hope for you, Logan.
Wow.
That means there's hope for you. And
I could be a real boy proud. Someday.
Yeah. Yeah, you could.
Oh, man.
That was mean, Claire. But
oh, Claire, really?
Yeah, she did you like that, bro. I
God.
could be a real boy. She hit that nose after the yes real quick. She said, yeah. I was like, yeah. She was like, yeah. But no, man, just get vaxxed, herd immunity and all that.
God, yes.
We don't want anybody to get sick. There's a lot of normalized toxicity within our society globally. You, my fellow human beings, are going to have to look and learn where that is affecting you and get that shit out your system. Because I'm in the stage of my life where once I start meeting people with toxicity in them, I'm in attack mode. You the enemy. And you don't even know about how I treat my enemies. So, and I don't tell you that to threaten you. I just tell you that because that's how it is with everybody else. So there is some toxic shit that you've been raised in and with. And you should do something about that.
Can I pause you for a second? Because when I thought of you like attacking people for their toxicity, I just imagine you taking your belt and beating grown ass people, grown ass people for being so toxic.
Happy. Oh my God, that makes me so happy.
I just like Mitch is gonna whoop some ass.
That makes toxicity. Yo, sepate, cat me down, cat me down. Wada-ta.
Oh no.
Woo. And don't forget to give us that feedback. We love it. And remember, it's always okay to cry. Maybe you got a few problems like the rest of us, but nonetheless, we all think it's great to cry. So let that shit out if you need to. Ain't no shame in that ever. Mitchell, signing off.
That was a good one. What do I have to leave you guys with? Oh yeah. Last thing I want to say. A couple days ago, before this was just not a couple days ago. Well, a couple days ago from you guys hearing it, but this is like yesterday for us. Yeah. Pride started. So happy Pride.
Oh God.
Happy Pride. Happy Pride to all the LGBTQ plus community. I did that right?
Good. Yes. For the most part. I mean, I think they added an extra, like there's a QIA.
I know, but
that's what the plus
but exactly.
I
that's
said
what the plus
plus
is for.
because I can't.
I know. You're doing great.
Because some
buddy.
people
You're doing great.
add more letters and some people add less, so I just tried to do my best.
You're doing great, buddy. You're doing great.
Happy Pride.
Yes,
happy
I would
Pride.
just want to say everybody's valid. Happy Pride.
Love yourself.
We should do an episode where we do like a little bit of the history of Pride. We should do that.
I'm down. We can do some
Probably
research. Take some time
next week because June goes fast. But
it doesn't go that fast. It's not 2 weeks.
It's good. It's at least a week or two. But no, we could do some research.
Yeah, but I know you. Like you did that with one of the other months. Recently,
No, I would like to.
And then we just never did it.
No, well. Yeah.
I know what you're
talking about. Well, okay. Well, that was because
last
month was both Mental Health Awareness Month
Maternal Mental Health Awareness Month.
No, it was Mental Health Awareness Month.
Oh, it was last
period.
Oh, okay.
It was Mental Health
I didn't know that.
Month. And it was I don't want to say Asian Awareness Month. It was what was it?
Asian American Pacific Islander.
Yeah, Asian American Pacific Islander Month. Yeah, that's what it was. And And so like we had 2 episodes that talked on both of those issues. So it wasn't like we didn't do anything for it. You know, we did. We just, we spent a little more time on mental health, I will admit, than we did on Asian American Month. But I didn't know what to say, and I don't think anybody else did.
It's not something we should be speaking on, you know what I mean? Like, we should
because
none
of us are,
But we never have felt that hustle. We've never felt that.
Yeah, so it's not something. It was nothing. It wasn't
not something we can speak on.
Besides, like, just like simple, like, solidarity. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Which we did.
Which I think we're a little better equipped to speak on pride and pride issues and things like that.
For me,
I definitely want to like maybe over the next couple of weeks. I want to read up on Stonewall. I definitely want to do that. Yeah,
it's an interesting story. I've read all about that.
Because the history of pride isn't all parades and pretty. So
no,
it's a black trans woman throwing a brick at a motherfucker for being a piece of shit.
Yeah, so
I wish she did that shit twice.
Yeah, I kind of like I like gritty stories like that. I love gangster shit.
What you mean? She should have hit that motherfucker twice.
Yes,
she should have hit him thrice, an extra time. Just because after the double tap, we don't fuck with you, you should get hit again. But she was under duress.
Mitch has this talent of saying like the most violent shit on the podcast and making it sound like so normal. Like it's like
it's a gift. Imagine if I said that less normal now, right? Like
right? Yeah. It's like Claire, calm down.
I just thank God when I wake up. I thank God every day. It's just like I don't know where this came from, but somebody's got to do it.
Because he says he says violent shit in a very 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 non-threatening voice. Like it's just like stab that mother. He's like, stab that motherfucker twice. Just stab him 3 times.
And rather than being scared, you'd be like,
You're just like, why is this man so angry? Maybe that man did deserve to get stabbed.
Should I pick up stabbing? Maybe. I mean, he makes it sound like this.
Follow us on Spotify. Follow us on Apple Podcasts. Follow us on anywhere you're getting your podcast from. That way, you can actually get the alert when the show goes up. Then when you can listen to it on your own terms, your own time. And people be like, your podcast is too long. It's 2 hours long. It's like, you're not supposed to listen to it while you're watching TV. You're supposed to listen to the podcast while you're doing something else, just like you listen to all other podcasts. You know what I mean?
Is that some of the feedback you've gotten?
Just from Sarah.
Intentional shout out. Okay.
Oh my God.
Mitch gets mentioned every goddamn podcast.
Well, when you're the queen.
So does Ben.
When you're the queen.
Anyways, oh yes, if you have any art to send the show, if you have any music to send the show, I'm just putting that in the ether until like somebody finally does it. Email us at themilkandtoast@gmail.com. I love that that's our email address. Like it's no numbers, it's just plain.
You're lucky no one else got it. Yeah.
We're the Milk and Toast. It is us and that is it. You know what I mean? I love that.
Unfuck that shit up.
What else am I missing, Claire?
The fuck? I don't know.
You always keep track. Well, you always keep track of what I'm missing.
Yeah, but I stopped because of that day you yelled at me.
Oh yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, I remember.
Sorry.
Mitchell looks off to the right, obviously upset that his friend didn't ask him what else we needed.
Yeah, Mitchell, what else is there? Do we have an Instagram?
No. It's okay. I wasn't asked.
You weren't. I think we're gonna leave it there.
Yeah, come on, let's go.
I'm Logan. I'm your host, Logan. Say bye to the people, Claire.
Bye, people.
Say bye to the people, Mitch.
I don't know if I want to because you almost called Claire me just now.
I
you
did,
fucking bastard.
Well, because
but goodbye,
I
everyone.
went out of order.
It's too late. Goodbye.
I'm your host, Logan, and this has been the Milk and Toast podcast, and we're out. That's it.
I hope that
I know, Paul. I was like, bye.
Because I caught that on.